Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people of all ages. This is going to be one hell of an episode of Gaming After Dark. I am your host, the one, the only, the man they know as Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. I am in the Season's Greetings room, and like I said, this is going to be one heck of a show tonight. I just want to clear, hopefully this stream works properly, because I know I've seen others tonight that have been really buffering. So any sound, any issues, guys, let us know in the chat. I'll do my best. We're kind of at the mercy of YouTube and our connections, I guess. And as far as acknowledging the chat, you guys know me. I do my best to acknowledge everybody that shows up. I may have trouble doing that tonight because, again, we got a big panel. We got there's about 12 topics, really, that we want to get into. And it's going to be one hell of a show. But first of all, let me get to my panel. And then we'll introduce our guests. You probably don't need introduction, but here they are. So we've got the man who brings the common back to sense, the one, the only, the man who brings the loud. It's Titan Drago.
What's up, everyone? What a panel for the year-end review show of Gaming After Dark. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I think Noof has outdone himself right here. And, this is going to be our last show of 2020. So, wow, like 2020, huh? Eeks, only better times ahead, right? I just can't wait to see the next gen games we're gonna get when we no longer have the excuse of COVID and working from home and things like that. So, 2021 might be a little rough around the edges as the vaccine gets handed out, but I'm an optimist, so I look forward to the future, and I can't help but see a brighter future for everyone. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know. We'll see. I guess let's look toward the positive, I say, and let's start the show. What do you say, Noof?
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. Let me just tell you, the best thing that came out of 2020 for me is it finally gives me a reason to stay 6 feet away from my wife.
Oh,
need more wine.
Boom, boom, boom. Yes, jerking off gets old quick. Okay, let's get into our next amazing panel member. He is the middle-aged game guy, better known as the Meg, and he's also got a special guest on standby later in the show. Here he is, the one, the only, the man who definitely brings the charisma, who can lay it down for you in so many ways. He's funny. He's awesome. It's the Meg.
Oh, good evening, Noof. Good evening, chat, and good evening, panel. And my goodness, what a panel we have this evening. Look at this. We've got Lady, we've got Primal Eve, we got Titan, we've got, obviously, myself, we got Noof Nukem, and I got a special mention of this, man. And I got to tell you something. 6 years ago, I didn't even know that YouTube gaming was a thing. And I found this one guy's video. Funny enough, it actually wasn't Mooch right away. It was Dealer. And then when I discovered Dealer, I said, wait a minute, what is this world? And so I started getting into it, and the very first podcast I listened to was Mooch. And I can't believe it that like 5 years plus later, here I am sitting next to the man, doing a podcast with him. I can't believe it. I'm super excited to be here, super honored to be in the same room with him. Guys, we're going to have a hell of a show tonight. We got a lot to talk about for 2020 and what's coming up for 2021, so let's get right into it.
Appreciate that, Meg. Very nice.
And this wouldn't be the best show of the year without two of the finest ladies in our gaming community. I'm going to start out with Lady AF. You guys may have heard her and seen her slurping away on her drinks over with Wilmy Hood and Company on Gaming Beyond the Box. So her first appearance ever on Gaming After Dark. I promise you it won't be her last. I couldn't wait to get her on. When she said she was going to be here tonight, I was super excited. So here she is. It's gaming's top lady.
Yeah, hi guys. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk. 2020. It's probably going to be a fun night. I'm hoping. I have my wine bottle, a whole bottle, plus I've already gone through another bottle. So I'm in here for a good time. I'm excited. Let's do this.
Always a good time. And the last but definitely not least, this is a person I hope that you guys are super excited and surprised as fuck to see. I do have to warn you, she's not staying the whole show, guys. So you're just going to have to put it back in your pants and maybe wait till here. Hopefully things clear up and Primal can come back a lot more often. But she is here. And when she said she would come out and say hello to you guys and stay for a little bit, we could, like having Primal here for 5 minutes is as good as fucking 3 hours for some people. So yes, we're glad to have Primal back on the show here right now. So the one, the only, the lady who's as raunchy as Noof Nukem himself, it's Primal Eve.
Yes, drop the cock and put away the sock, guys. I'm actually really here this one time. It's taken like I keep on wanting to be on the show and talk to everybody. It's been a while. I'm really happy actually to have Titan and Mooch here. I feel like I haven't talked to either one of you guys in a very long time. I definitely miss podcasting and chatting, but I'm trying to like get my life together, you know, with like the glue that you used to make as a kid with like the sugar and paste shit. Yeah, that's pretty much my life right now. But the one thing I really wanted to say to everybody is I wish everyone has like a really good and safe, happy holiday, and also get rid of this fucking year and bring in the new year, please. just something a little different. I know our lives have been completely changed from this past year, so I hope everybody has some positive things and we're all moving forward this upcoming year.
Hey, who can last longer than 5 minutes with Primal anyways? Let's be honest.
Shit, 5 minutes? I'm lucky if I get like a minute and a half, and like 45 of those seconds is me just taking my clothes off. So yeah, I'll take 5 minutes.
There you go, guys. She is back. I'm telling you. Have we missed her? Yes, we fucking have. We missed Primal Eve. Well, like I said, it's good to have you here. Man, the chat is rocking already. There's so many people live. Like I said, I can't keep up with you guys tonight. I know my good buddy Seamus in the chat, fan of Kraken. Your boy Matty P, Psychonauts is here. Doggy Dog, Timothy Dixon, Spider-Man is in the house. He's always swinging by. You guys are fucking fantastic. Thank you guys from the bottom of all of our hearts here for supporting us this year. This podcast has seen exponential growth week in and week out, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you. We'll get more of that before we end. We do have, like I said, a lot of topics tonight, and we're going to get right into it. But we have an all-star panel. This is going to be a great show. You may have to adjust your headsets from time to time because this shit could get a little bit loud, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Cloud, what's going on? Juan Castillo, what's up? Yeah, here we go, guys. Let's get right into it. Canada, says Lady AF. I don't know if she has it out for Canada, but yeah.
That's what I call Cloud. That's his name.
The Gotham guys, who's a Mooch? Mooch, you got lots of love up in the chat here, brother.
Appreciate it.
All right, Crazy Greek Dude's here. Yeah, it's going to be a good show. We got a great chat. All right, let's get right into it, guys. I don't need to ask everybody what you're playing. I mean, fuck, we've been playing everything under the sun. But let's talk about Game of the Year. It's always the most hotly debated topics all year, and there were so many great games in a year that was really shitty, in a year that technically we might have not gotten any games really, but the fact that so many came out and still hit some high benchmarks is a testament to a lot of the hardworking devs. We've also seen some amazing games that came out and fell short of the mark as well. We're going to get into some of those, so let's get rolling, baby. Oh, did I forget? Did I introduce the Mooch? No, I did not. Oh, he said I forgot Mooch.
I was just drunk.
Oh my God. Wow. All right. Before we get into the topics, I got to introduce the one, the only. Everybody knows him. He's got a personality that is as loud and charismatic as YouTube itself. He is the man that got many of us on this panel into fucking YouTubing itself. It is the one, the only, the Mooch.
Buddy, it is great to be on the show. It's been a while since I was on the show, and I asked the great Doggy Dog 420 who's in the chat to please be the guy to let me know how the audio is. I got a new microphone. But now, it's funny. I'm sitting here and I was like, why is this show on at 10 o'clock at night Eastern time? And I'm thinking, well, you know what? It's because of the time zones. It's not. It's because it's rated XXX. It has to be on when the kids are asleep. I had no idea. But Noof, honestly, looking forward to the show, buddy. Great topics list. Amazing panel. Some of the people I get to meet for the first time and talk to. And that's what this is so great about. Like, the panel is assembled by yourself. You handpicked everybody. It's going to be a fantastic show. And I look forward to things like this, to actually get a chance to meet some new people that have been podcasting for a few years now. So this is awesome, man. Let's get to it.
Yeah, Meg, maybe Tony Baloney should come in and warn the people that are sensitive to our topic material about how rated this show is.
Hold on, let me just get him 1 second. Tony, I know you're on Anya, but come over here for a second. Yeah. Okay, let me tell you something. If you guys got a problem with the show, you got a problem with any language, sexuality, or anything, let me tell you something. You better go tuck your own asses into bed. Never mind your kids. Put your kids to bed and get your own ass into the bed right next to them, okay? Because this show's going to be rough. And let me tell you something, Titan. I didn't forget all the shit you talked about me last week. And Mooch, you're not off the hook either, because I've been waiting 5 years to say something to you. So we'll talk later this evening when I get my pink champagne poured. Noof, bring that show back to you right away.
That's awesome.
And don't forget, Tony Baloney will be before the end of the show, and this one may run a bit long. If anybody on the panel cannot stay, that is fine. I know it gets late, but hopefully we can all make it. So, yeah, back to me, and let's get right into the topics. Here we go. So, game of the year. We'll start with the ladies. We'll let them go first, and we'll start with Primal Eve on this one. Primal, I know you haven't had a chance to game as much as perhaps you would have liked this year. It's been a stressful year for you. You've told me many times. But of all the games you've had a chance to dabble with this year, what would be your favorite? What would be your top pick?
You know, when you told me about this, I was like, "Fuck!" I gotta rewind. There are a lot of there were a lot of games that I played that were gems, but I gotta give it to Final Fantasy VII Remake. We talked about this before when we were talking about like who would be game of the year. And Noof, at first you did say that you didn't think it would be a contender because it was a remake of an old game. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I did, yeah.
I think that was probably before you played it or anything. But it's something old, it's something new, you know, it's great. It's like it's a comfort food, and I was like, my face was all in it and shit. So I just that I'm gonna have to give it to that because it's the only one that's truly stood out. I haven't really played too many games like that, even though I've played a shit ton of JRPGs, but compared to the other games that have come out this year, this was something that was a little more refreshing than other games.
So what you're saying is Final Fantasy is kind of like an old dildo with a fresh condom on it.
No, it was more like a one that had dead batteries and you replaced them type thing. Like it's working now. You know, get it in while you can before it dies again.
Why
So
you put
and
a condom
that's
on a
why I'm
dildo?
waiting. I know. He threw me off when he said that. I was like,
That's how safe Noof is. That's how bad he don't want
I
kids,
know.
man.
Come on, Mooch. I'm waiting for it here. I'm waiting for it.
I'm waiting for the no joke. I can't use too many all at once. And
Every time I ever guested on one of Mooch's podcasts, I'd say that Mooch like, no, chill.
Yeah. Oh my
A
God.
couple super chats coming in. Casper Repair drops $4.99. Says Merry Christmas, y'all. All the best in the future. And we have another one, but this one's coming from our panel member.
Wow.
Mag drops $5 into Merry Christmas to everyone on this panel. You guys and gals are all amazing. Well, thanks, Mag. Thanks, Casket. We're off to a great start tonight. Buddha Nukem. Holy shit, Buddha time's in here. What is going on, Buddha? Glad to see you, brother. Hope you are well and doing good. Pong Soul is here. Me and Pong, man, the last couple of days, I swear to fuck, every time I was on a podcast, that dude was in the same chat. So we've been like really fucking, yeah. We've been following each other around, man, like stink on shit. Let me tell you. All right. Any further thing to say on your game of the year pick, Primal?
No, but the okay, yeah, I do. That's a lie. I'm loving Cyberpunk, and I wish it was more of a contender to be a game of the year. I know it's not perfect. No, I'm not unhappy with it, but it's definitely a game that should have been a contender and could have been better than what a lot of people are making it out to seem. I just think a lot of people's views are very extreme. This is why I wish I was on last week, Noof. I would have taken up 2 hours of the shit. But yeah,
Right,
so
yeah.
I'm loving Cyberpunk. I could talk about it all day. I've been playing it all day. This has been my life. So nope, that's it. So I'll go with Final Fantasy, and I am actually going to head out right after this. I hope everyone here on the panel enjoys the show, and you guys all have a good time. I'm sure you will. Mooch, let them talk.
I'll try my best.
Yeah,
I'll try my best.
all right, and it was great to see everybody in the chat, and I hope to talk to all of you guys again soon.
Well, Merry Christmas seasons, greetings, all that applies.
Yes.
Primal, we love you. We miss you. We wish you all the best, you and your daughter, in this year, the rest of this year, and definitely for next year. So thanks for coming back, at least to say hello. I know people here have missed you. So we hope that you'll come back for more guest spots next year. Just let me know when you're free, you got time. And if you ever want to come back as a full-time member, the door is always open.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, guys. And I hope you all have a good night.
See you, Primal.
Merry Christmas, Primal.
Bye. Merry Christmas. Bye.
There you go, guys. Primal Eve. She made a short and quick appearance, but thank God she was here. Jesse Darby, what is up, brother? Glad to see you here in the chat. So, yeah, speaking of Cyberpunk, hey, how about that? 13 million copies sold even after the refund debacle. Crazy stuff. So,
Almost like a crazy PR stunt in a way.
I know.
Let's see how many people we can get to buy this shit and test it out.
Absolutely unbelievable. It's actually encouraged me to quit my job and start to make a game. It's going to be a Mooch and Crap game coming out next year. I didn't want to let you guys know till the next Game Awards, but we're working on it behind the scenes. Apparently, you can make anything and just slap it on a disc. I don't know. That's amazing. That number is in. You know what? The 13 million. Okay, great. So what? No big deal. Good. We knew it was going to be a big game. That 13 million still encompasses the fact that includes the refunds.
Yes.
I mean, so this thing, you figure maybe 2 million probably came back, 3 million with a backlash. You know, not everybody. A lot of people buy things and we all kind of just sit on them, right? Like you'll buy something in a furniture store, you'll come home, you'll notice there's a defect, and you're like, well, you could bring the couch back. I'm not bringing the couch back. I'm not. If you can't get it out, you can't get this out. I'm not bringing the couch back. So what do? You live with the defect. It's what we're doing. The 13 million, right? 13 million out there. That is just absolutely wild. So, I mean, and I got to say, I wish Primal was able to stay a little longer. I kind of wanted to pick her brain there for a second and say, what is it you're actually digging? I'm only about, I would say maybe 3 to 5 hours in. And I understand a lot of people are going to say that's not enough time. And that's fine. I'll respect that opinion. But there's nothing this game is bringing to me that I haven't experienced in GTA or an Ubisoft game or a you fill in the blank game. Like, I'm not enthralled. Now, have I gotten to the part with Johnny Silverhand? No, I haven't gotten to that fun part. I know any second now, Spider-Man's going to start yelling at me in the chat, by the way. So keep an ear out for Spider-Man. But, I mean, that's the one thing. If you guys are enjoying it, I'm really, really interested to hear what you guys are enjoying with this game. And I'm hoping it talks me into going back into the game and enjoying it. So, I mean, myself personally, I'm not going to even get down on CD Projekt Red about the bugs.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's the game itself. I'm not enthralled to sit down and play it.
Really?
And that's again, Titan, it might be a me problem. I'm just trying to say, what is it that's driving me to play this game? Is the story that engulfing? If it is, then I'll sit down and try it longer. So far, I'm just kind of like between the few bugs and just the driving is terrible. The shooting mechanics aren't so great. Bad. Yeah, right. There's just so many things that are kind of like meh that I'm like, why am I going to go ahead and put 25, whatever it is?
What are you playing it on, Mooch? What are you playing it on?
I am playing it on PC.
Okay. All right. Well,
by the time that dildo add-on came in, it was already in my ass. By the time the textures loaded.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a you problem, quote unquote, Mooch, but I would definitely. You may want to see a shrink or something about that, Mooch, because I gotta tell you, man, I'm loving this damn game. I'm like enthralled because upgrading your body cybernetically, man, it just seems like the whole premise seems really cool to me, and it really caught me. And on the Series X, like it's the city is bustling. I don't know, I would imagine it is for you too. And how many frames is your computer running it at, and things like that? Is it running it well, or like somewhere?
I'm floating around the 60 mark. I have a 2080 Ti and an 8700K. I would have had a better build, but I'm not in the mood to get anybody in an arm bar to get a 3090.
No, that'll run it perfectly fine.
That's the thing, Titan. That's what I said. I want to kind of put the bugs conversation aside because it's not fair for me to say I have encountered a couple, but there's nothing that a new game hasn't. So I'm not going to use the bugs thing as a crutch for me personally. I'm telling you, it's the game.
We talked about it last week too. Like I always said, like these open world games have a lot of actually potential for like fun bugs that happen in open world games. And this one definitely, I've seen a couple on Twitter. Like last week, I mentioned the one. Have you seen the one, Mooch, about this guy's just standing there and all of a sudden, like a car comes flying out of left field at him, like from hundreds of yards away.
Yes, I did.
He said, "I didn't know, the Hulk was in this game."
I saw that one. Like you say, those are just unexpected events that happen in these open world games that happen on GTA's first few months, right? Absolutely. But like for me personally, you could say, "Oh, that's just game breaking," but no, it's not. It's funny. Things happen. Things get patched. You move on. I just think that when we get to a point of let's fast forward ourselves to March of 2021. So here we are. It's March 2021. They got the 2 big patches out. Everything's out there that they promised. They did what they said they were going to do. I'm just saying to myself, okay, it's the same kind of way I feel about. I'll give you an example, Titan. AC Valhalla. Like I said this beforehand. So I always try to practice what I preach. I never liked any of the Assassin's Creed games before. So was I supposed to fall in love with Valhalla? Probably not, right? So Valhalla for me didn't do anything new either. It was kind of like just the succession of Assassin's Creed. Again, nothing wrong with this, but I'm curious with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's not just another Assassin's Creed, right? It's not just another Watch Dogs. It was supposed to be that next leap into next generation. That like, wow, this is something this game does that other games didn't do in Gen 8. Now we're going into Gen 9. And for me personally, even if you like it, that's fine. But it's really just at best, it's a continuation of Gen 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but like I'm feeling the added density to the game. Like I definitely feel that. It feels like a lot more than anything else, and just compared to Valhalla. Like Valhalla, see, like we talked about that last week, how it's like basically an empty field compared to Cyberpunk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't even get into the first topic tonight.
Like, we gotta move on.
I was just throwing that out there. The guys are going on a fucking debate.
Just so you know ahead of time, I think Guinness has this logged in. Current podcast average time 2 hours. This is like a Stern thing. Podcast with Mooch on them. 2 hours 45 minutes. We don't know why. It could be a lot of rambling. Not really sure.
No, it's all good, guys. That's part of podcast. It's a fun part that we're having here. Salty's Game, and what's up, brother? Thanks for stopping by, man. Hope all is well. We got a couple of super chats. Mooch, you might want to read the one from Gotham guy since he's directly asking you a question. I don't know. Do you have the chat handy or?
Yes, no? I do. The chat. The chat is it's the straw of the drink. The chat's the straw of the drink. Without the chat, there's no show. So
well, he's asking you a question, so you might as well read it.
All right, Gotham guy. Good to see Gotham guy again back in the chat. He says, I bought the collector statue of Cyberpunk for my Series X, but I'm waiting to get a new TV. It's been the Samsung Q90, Sony 900H, and the LG OLED CX. So, Mooch, I got to ask, which one should I get? This is a no-brainer. I wish this was actually a question I could answer for like the $10,000 jackpot. That's the LG OLED CX you're going to want, buddy. And listen, this is coming from somebody that has a Sony 900F. The H, of course, does do the 120 frames. It's got the HDMI 2.1. So, yes, that is great. It's a great bang for your buck. But I'm not going to kid you. Let's just talk apples to apples, 48, 49-inch 900H, all the way to going to a OLED CX at the same thing. I think you're going to end up paying probably about $400 more for the CX. But a CX makes your game look like a painting that was just painted 15 minutes ago. Like that wet is still on the canvas, and you can see that ink as you move left and right. It is absolutely stunning. It's breathtaking. So
you know what their nickname is for those TV? It's Jesus. That looks good.
It absolutely is. It really is. So Gotham guy, easy selection. Go with the LG OLED CX. I myself personally have the E7. And I'm going to wait another year. I'm going to wait till the successor of the CX for no real good reason other than I just feel like it's not doing my current television any justice to sell that or move it to another room to get the CX, even though I'd love to have that 120 hertz capability. I'll just have to wait one more year, but that's a no-brainer. And my recommendation also, don't get the Q90. I've always felt like the Q90 is like the little brother to LG. They really, really are trying to get there. You know what I mean? It's like Wally and the Beef. You know what I mean? It just can never ever catch up to the beef. So it is what it is. But that would be my guess. And Noof, thanks for letting me talk to Gotham guy.
Absolutely, man. Well, there you go. You got your answer, Gotham guy. Thanks for the super chat. Speaking of super chats, one more here from Dirt Cricket. He drops a $5. What's up, Dirt? He says, "What's up, Noof and the panel? My boy Mooch is in the house." Like I said, the love runs deep for Mooch tonight. All right, but we're gonna get to Mooch in just a moment. We got to get over to our other amazing lady with our game of the year. So, lady, you played a lot of fucking games this year, and you've had a lot of drinks along the way. So, which one were you slurping the most from your straw to while you're playing this year? What was your favorite?
I might get some heat for this, but
don't say Animal Crossing.
It is fucking Animal Crossing. 100%. I loved the fucking series when I was little. When I was like 14, Population Growing meant a lot to me in that time. So I've been waiting for it for a while, and I think Nintendo did it fucking right. It was fantastic. Am I playing it still? Fucking no. But I did sink a ton of hours into it when it came out, and I loved it for what it was. And it was. I just thought it was a fucking fantastic game. So whatever. I love a sim game. Like, I will sit down and play a fucking simulation game. Stardew Valley is like fucking top for me. So
I'm DDoSing Noof Nukem's kick button right now, so he can't kick you, lady.
It's cool. Like, I am not ashamed to fucking say it.
That's all right.
I am a Nintendo fangirl, and I love it.
Meg, Meg, that's okay, right? Because remember last week, I think Titan Drago had like Call of Duty up for game of the
You know what?
fucking year.
I almost had an aneurysm when he said that.
Yeah.
Okay, Tony Baloney almost blew out the microphone last week when you said that to Call of Duty for Game of the Year. I'm like, are you out of your mind?
Well, you
And now
better
I'm-
prepare yourself again tonight. Let me tell you.
Okay, all right, I'm ready.
Oh, Lord.
Don't worry, I'm
Well,
ready.
lady, let me just tell you, I don't know how you managed to play it. That Tom Nook guy made me literally want to get a fucking pellet gun and shoot the fucker. I tried the game. I even went out and spent the money on it, and I tried it because everybody was talking about it. It looked so cute and stuff. And I was like, my God, this shit feels like real life. Just collecting shit to give it to a guy
Fucking
over
not
fighting
going to be
shit.
for everybody. Material
Oh.
collection and fucking material games like that are not for everybody. So
That's true.
I will fucking give you that. So
I like your pick. I like that you went out on a limb. You picked something different, and nobody's criticizing you for liking what you like. That you had a fucking
Well,
fun
I
with
fucking
it.
hope
And that's
not.
what it's about. That is what gaming is about: is having fun with the game. You had a ton of with that one. So Animal Crossing for you, a fantastic choice. And two right out of left field so far, because Primal picked Final Fantasy, the remake, Final Fantasy VII. Ladies picking Animal Crossing. Now let's get into our guest of the evening, and I think by the first rant he went on, Cyberpunk is not in that conversation.
Might not make it.
So let's go with the Mooch. Mooch, what game had you up in crumpets this year? What was your top pick?
Well, listen, again, it shouldn't be any surprise to anybody that follows me on Twitter or YouTube. Like I love The Last of Us, and it's not just The Last of Us. This isn't a Neil Druckmann joint. You know, it's not about that. It's about the fact that I love anything in apocalyptic settings. I really, really do. That's generally the setting that I kind of dig. And of course, I know everybody else in gaming is sick of zombies, but apparently the Mooch and developers aren't. They keep making them. So I really love it. I got, the game got a lot of flack for the way that the story went. But if you are a fan of the genre, and I mean, what I mean by the genre is that zombie apocalypse, you have to understand that at any point in time when you're watching or playing or experiencing these types of games or stories, there's going to be an unexpected thing that happens to a beloved character. So did I hate the fact of, and I don't know if we're allowed to start talking spoilers, but I'll be vague, but people will kind of get it. Like, the fact that one of the main characters does die early on, it tells you something. It's not something like where you go, well, this sucks. I followed this individual all the way through the first one. I followed this individual all the way through the second one, and you just kill him. No, it wasn't like that. He died early on because there was so much more background to the story and why he died. And when you're living in times like that, if you ever want to truly believe or get engulfed into that story, you've got to understand that something shocking has to happen to you, buddy. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, take The Walking Dead, for example. Like, they killed Shane in season 2, and I get it if you guys are comic book fans. You're like, he died in the episode 2, so he lasted longer. I know. I heard the story a million times. But they killed Shane in episode 2. They killed Rick, and I mean, or they didn't kill Rick. They killed Rick off the show. He's not dead. But my point being is that, like, you have to have that emotional loss to kind of keep you roped in. So I think that the team at Naughty Dog did a really good job with that. They didn't necessarily bring anything brand spanking new necessarily as far as the mechanics go, but I enjoyed the way the mechanics were. So the story was written outstanding. I played through the game twice on the hardest difficulty. I loved it. I really, really did. I thought that it was well done. Of course, apparently the critics and the Game Awards thought the same thing, but I picked this as my game of the year when I played it. I just genuinely enjoyed the game, and I really can't wait for Factions 2 to come out. So,
And I mean, hospital level, hot damn, that shit had my blood pumping.
Which one?
The hospital level toward the end when you fucking meet that giant fucking whatever the hell it is.
The Rat King. Yeah,
oh,
I mean,
God.
I'll tell you, man, it was, and that's another thing. That's just not typical of that type of game to have that kind of a boss fight. There wasn't really that boss fight in the first one. There was just a ton of people to beat in an array with limited supplies, and that had this as well. But at the same time, they put that big boss fight in there at the end. But I got to tell you, the way that they tied in, and again, I'll try and do this with the least amount of spoilers. The way that they can make you hate a character. This is the interesting part. This is where the writing comes in. The way that they made me hate a certain character in the beginning of the game, and then actually think that when I finished the game and I put the controller down, I said the person I couldn't stand with all my guts, I couldn't stand this person at all, is actually the person I like the most by the end of the game. That's something, right? That's something. Generally, like, you didn't start playing Zelda and love Ganon at the end. Like, Ganon, he's really not that bad. He stole the shadows of Earth and stole all the souls. He wasn't that bad. No, you don't say that. So, right, there's not many games where you just change your mind at the end where the villain becomes possibly, in a sense, a hero or a hero vigilante of some sort.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I picked it. There's a lot of complexity to that game, and I think that it's definitely a worthy of a playthrough if you haven't.
Well, I loved your elaboration on that, and I'll have something to say more in a few minutes. But let's let Titan have it now, because I got a feeling that when Mag goes off, he's going to go back in on Titan's pick here. So let's have Titan jump in here and let us know. Oh, by the way, Titan, maybe you need to give out the Common Back to Sense award this year, perhaps at the end, maybe, you know. But yeah, I'll let you have the whole podcast to think it over. You're going to have some time here. But what was your game of the year, Mr. Drago?
Well, yeah. Tony Baloney's gonna come out from backstage and ream me again. Because I'm sorry. I don't know why, but I mean, it's just not a popular opinion because of the rinse and repeat. I guess COD does, but they didn't do that this year. You know, they went back to their roots. They learned from previous mistakes. They did everything they needed. Besides, I would say my biggest complaint is they didn't shut down the hackers. They tried. Yeah. They're just coming at them from every, you know, like whatever answer they got, hackers got an answer for that too. But other than that, Modern Warfare, it was an absolute leap forward, right? With the new engine, the new modes, like the 2v2, that was amazing on the smaller maps. That had never been done really that I can remember. At least not like this. It brought the battle royale. I've always wanted, I've always wanted a battle royale like this since I started playing battle royales. And oh yeah, let's not forget, it had the best seasonal event that I have ever played, and I'm sure that is not a very, I'm sure that is a pretty popular opinion, because that Halloween update was so fun. Like playing as a zombie and then like earning your humanity back, man, that was just cool as hell. I played this game with the Mooch a handful of times throughout the year. And so Mooch, I got to ask your personal thoughts on it. Yeah. So my question to you is, like, what did COD not do stellar to even be like mentioned in Game of the Year? I mean, like, whose mom did COD disrespect? Like, what unforgivable prank did COD pull off? Mooch, I gotta know, for the love of God.
I love it. I love your enthusiasm, Titan. And I'll tell you something, I can't necessarily disagree. I know where Mag's coming from, so I got to give him credit where he's saying, hey, this game's been out forever. How can you pick a game like that? That's also kind of why I think Titan's got a point here. This is a game that's been out for the longest time, but yet it has to try and reinvent itself. And I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, Titan, you said it yourself. Just last night, I played 4.5-5 hours of Warzone. I'm still very much addicted to it. I love that game. So I don't know why it doesn't get that kind of credit anymore. I think it's because people know that a lot of time, money, and effort goes into that game, but because it is a yearly release, I think it's the same reason you don't see like World of Warcraft or League of Legends always being in the Game of the Year award. They want to give the games that come out that are a one-time this year, and you may not see a Last of Us again for 7 years or never again. You may never see another Hades ever again. You may not see those types of games again. So they give those games the honor, if you will. But Titan, to be honest with you, you do have to tip your cap to both. I would say I'm a bigger fan of Infinity Ward than I am Treyarch. That's a me problem, but I got to be honest with you. You got to tip your cap to them. They are putting out a game that is substantially keeping people happy for the better part of every single year for anywhere from $60 to $90 total. In
COVID times.
Yeah,
absolutely. And one more thing we do have to kind of credit is that Halloween theme thing that they did during Warzone for COVID, during the COVID period we were in. That was absolutely outstanding. And I mean, I'm a Halloween nut. I love Halloween. Like literally, I only think Christmas nudges Halloween out as my favorite. Like Christmas just nudges it, because I mean, we get presents, and I'm a Mooch.
I am with you, Mooch.
Right? Right, lady, but just behind Christmas is Halloween right there. So at the same time, I got to say, like, that was an amazing thing. Just a great package to put together, and again, free. It didn't cost any extra money unless you wanted to buy a skin. So yeah, Titan. I mean, to be honest with you, there's a reason you're scratching your head and it holds water.
It's the only time being naked outside of my house seems normal.
I will say it is the first time I have ever played and enjoyed a COD game in.
See?
And there's something to that,
there really is. And I that's not, I mean, outside of Halo, and well, actually I do like first-person shooters, but I mean that was an enjoyable time for me. So I will give you that. I didn't hate it, and that's saying a lot.
Interesting though, because like every year, there's always a handful of really good first-person shooters, but very few of them ever get Game of the Year nominations. Have you guys ever noticed that? It's almost like the genre that just
it's
gets
an
no
RPG
love.
land kind of.
Yeah, it's always RPGs or story-based action games that are in the consideration. It's weird. Like when was the last time? Well, probably I shouldn't say, because Doom Eternal did get lots of nods this year, but I mean that seems to be the exception and not the rule, right? So it's gonna be a long show tonight, Dr. Hell. We're still on the first topic and we're already 36 minutes in. I got 12. All right, cool stuff. Any final thoughts on that one, Titan? Like I said, man, I love the fact that you're willing to go out on a limb and pick something different. Nobody's faulting you for your pick, bro.
No, I'm ready. I'm holding on to my nuts. Mag, go ahead and give it your best shot.
No. That's not me. That's Tony Baloney. That's he's a different. As soon as he gets in his third or fourth glass of pink champagne, that's a whole different story. But anyways, can I go ahead, Noof?
Yeah, floor's yours, Mag. Take it away.
So this, it's funny. I know the chat's already going to start because they're always like, the Mag sounds like the Mooch. And all of a sudden, guess what? My game of the year is also The Last of Us 2. Yes! And there is a reason. Now, I'm not going to say all the same things that Mooch just said, okay? Because he already said all those things. But I'm going to piggyback off of it and say a couple of other things, or maybe just elaborate on them. And I got to tell you something. When a game has an emotional impact on you, that doesn't leave you, not only just when you put the controller down and you go up to bed or you wake up the next morning. We're talking like a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later, 5 months later. You can't stop thinking about that story, whether you love it or you hate it. And thank God Enemy Heaven's not in the chat tonight. My God, that guy's been riding me like a donkey for 2 weeks because of what I've been saying about Last of Us 2. And you know what the thing is? It sticks with you because it's so visceral and it's so I can't think of a proper word for it, but besides visceral, it's just so down, like just like Mooch said, like about The Walking Dead and that kind of thing. It's so dirty and it's so like, you see the kill scenes, like the way they take it, that's how it would really go down if you had a pocket knife and you had to saw through someone's neck and you see the brutality. That's the word I was looking for. The brutality of a survival horror world, because that's essentially what it's become. You know what I mean? It's a post-apocalyptic survival horror world. And speaking of which, I do like on the gameplay side of things, I'll get back to the story in a minute. On the gameplay side of things, I think it was an absolutely stellar stealth game that would match any stealth game out there. Because you would get to areas and you had like whatever, 8 to 10 enemies, that kind of thing going on. And you would sit there behind like a dumpster and you're going, okay, how am I going to do this? So you're mapping out the entire area of who you're going to take out, how you're going to take out. I would put that up against any military stealth game out there. And the AI, another thing, absolutely incredible. I mean, you take out a guy, and if you leave him there, all of a sudden they're like, hey, Johnny, they killed Earl. And all of a sudden they start coming over to you. And you're going, oh, shit, what am I going to do now? So then all of a sudden you realize you got to be a little bit smarter than that. So it adds a sense of realism to the situation, right? Well, as real as it is that a late teenage girl is going to go out and murder 400 people on her way to the end of a quest. But the point, anyways, back to the story. The thing that a lot of people didn't like about the story, and I don't think it's because they thought it was written poorly or that it was like, the story was garbage. It was written, it was shit. It was trash. No, you didn't like the way you didn't like the direction that the story went.
Right.
And that's and that's the thing. And see, now doing what I do for a living, okay? I've been a chef for decades now. And there's one thing I got to tell you about customers, especially now, because now I work in now I'm in a retirement home. It's a whole different story. They don't really get many choices, right? So, let's say it's penne alla vodka night or something, okay? Now that sounds awesome to us. Okay, I make penne alla vodka with the bacon and the scallions, and I'll even throw some chicken and peas in there and the rosé sauce and this and that. And everybody's like, wow, that sounds great. The staff loves it and everything else. These people are 95 years old. They grew up eating out of Campbell's soup cans, okay, and pogo sticks and that kind of stuff. And then they get this like, what the hell is this crap? But the thing is, they won't even try it. They just say it's crap because they don't like it. And I said, it's not because of the quality. Okay, it's not the quality that we're talking about. It's because they personally don't like it, so they call it trash. Now let's take it back to Last of Us 2. People didn't like the narrative direction that the story went, and they didn't, and then they said, oh, well, it's trash. I disagree with that, and I will stand on that hill. I have that candle lit in the window, and that's where I'm going to stand. I'm saying, you know what? This was brilliant storytelling. Like Mooch said, how do you start a story with someone you love and someone you hate? And then halfway through that story, or at least 3/4 through that story, all of a sudden the person you love, you hate, and the person you hate, you love. Who does that? Right. That is brilliant writing. That is brilliant. And then on top of that, what they did is they tied it into the first one to something that they never even touched on in the first one. And then all of a sudden they brought it back, and all of a sudden you're going, wow, now I see the motivation. But then you know what makes you think about it after the fact is the fact that you can apply this exact same storyline to things that are happening in the real world right now. You know, for example, let's say we're in a military conflict with another country. They're the enemy. They're the bad guys. But I bet you if you went over there and talked to them, they would say that we're the bad guys, right? And then they tell their side of the story. And what happens is we don't hear the other side of the story. But you know what real life is? The door swings both ways. And this story, the story in Last of Us 2, I know it sounds awfully melodramatic, but I mean, this is how I felt about it. And this is how much this story touched me, is that what it did is that it showed you both sides of that story. It showed you that the door swings both ways, and that, you know, the enemy's not always the enemy, and, you know, the good guy's not always the good guy. It depends on which way you're looking. And that's what struck me, and that's what stuck with me. And to this day, December 22nd, I still can't stop thinking about that game. Yes. And the fact that it won Game of the Year for me is it absolutely deserved it. And one last thing, excuse me, my goodness. Actually, I forgot what the last thing was. I think that was pretty much it. I pretty much blew my load there. That was it. I mean, I remember what it was. When you get to the ending, I will not spoil the ending, but when you get to the ending of the story, you want to talk about emotional impact, is when you finally get to the moment where two titans collide, two storylines collide, and you get to points where you have to make decisions you don't want to make. I put the controller down and walked away with my hands on my hips like I just ran a marathon. And I walked around the living room breathing, going, what am I going to do? Which one am I going to press? And that's what it did. It touched me to my soul, that game. But anyways, honorable mention to Ghost of Tsushima. But either way, Last of Us 2, Game of the Year.
Great. Yeah. Well, you're going to take the words straight out of my damn mouth. But before I get into my pick, let's catch up with the super chats because we have a few. Buddha time. He draws $5. Says happy holidays to all. And by the way, Noof, you're killing it. Can't wait to see what 2021 has in store for your channel. Love, brother. Well, thanks, Buddha. All the best to you and your family. And Gotham Guy jumps back in with another $5 super chat and says, it's official. Mag, you and Mooch are alike because you use food metaphors to explain your reasons. Well,
that was unintentional, I swear.
I was going to ask next time Tony Baloney comes out, can he bring me a BMT? I'm starving, by the way.
I can't believe it. It is so unintentional. But yeah, you know what? That is true. He pointed that out.
Yeah, and Meg is actually a chef on top of all that, right? Like, Jesus.
Yes, sir.
Makes it better.
Joe Jumbo in the chat. Joe, he has a good thing about The Last of Us. He talks about the AI, and you know what? That's one of the things I'm going to talk. My game of the year, guys. If you haven't heard me say this probably a billion times so far this year, and boy, it was close, but it is The Last of Us Part 2.
Wow.
Now, here's why I picked The Last of Us Part 2. And a middle-aged game guy basically summed up almost everything I wanted to say, almost word for word. I'm going to ride on his coattails a little bit. But first of all, let's just talk about the graphics. It is one of the best-looking games this generation. It is arguably one of the best PlayStation-looking games ever. You know, when you look at the first game and how well that was done, even the fact that it came out sort of toward the end of the PS3 gen, and this one comes out here almost like right at, it's kind of weird because this one comes out almost at the end of the PS4 gen, but like the facial animations, the believability of the characters, that's what really makes this game shine. The characters are so believable. They feel like people that you live with and that you know and you can identify with, and that's great. And you know, the way that they just tell this story intricately, and the way this game, you know, introduced you a little bit more open world stuff, a little more roaming and aspects of it too, so they're branching out a little bit. But like I said, graphics are amazing. Animation is top notch. The acting in this game is also superb. But like Mag, this is the part that got me as well. When I got to the first part where I played as what's her name? Not Ellie. The other one's her name?
Abby.
Abby. I'm thinking to you, I'm like the same thing. Like, I'm cursing this girl up in heaps. We just saw one of the most epic, crazy moments in history. Then you play as this girl and you are fuming, you're hating it. And I'm like, how the fuck am I going to play this game? And I'm like almost swearing at this character as I'm playing this game. Like, what the fuck? Or like, I'm playing this girl. But it all comes to fruition. By the time it's over, you understand why she does what she does. And at the end of it, you start to realize that she is not so different from Ellie itself. They both have very similar paths driven by circumstances outside of the control, which lead them back together. But, you know, a lot of people made stuff about the whole, you know, lesbian. What the fuck does that got to do with anything? Period. That's the bottom line. Like, who cares what sexuality is in a game? You're not playing a game for sexuality. You know what I mean? It's in the game, and you know, you applaud them for doing something different. And you know what? Neil Druckmann and his team took a lot of heat from fans, even the hardcore that loved the first Last of Us and swore that they hated this game. But you take a positive at it. You know what the positive is? The game took enough risks and resonated with such big story risks that it made you feel that way. So isn't that kind of good that it provoked that kind of response, whether it was good or bad? I think so. Like, I mean, some people took it way too far. I mean, some people almost threatened the lives of these people, and literally people had the audacity to say, we want you to basically remake parts of the game. I'm like, seriously, people, now that's just getting asinine, okay? Yeah. But like, the game itself was just fantastic. Play control improved at every aspect of the first game, and Mooch, you can attest to that the guns felt better, they felt more responsive, it wasn't as floaty, and it needed to be, because the game is much faster, but the stealth is done much better. Does that make any sense? When the action gets going, you feel like you have more response to it, but at the same time, the game itself lends itself to the stealth aspect better than the first game. The enemies in the first game, to be honest, especially some of the human enemies, are really stupid. Like, basically, you can just hide in a couple shards of grass, and they basically walk on by like, what was that? Never mind. But in this game, they once they catch on to you, they come after you, and they send those damn dogs too, and that makes it even trickier because those fucking things smell you and they start coming, and it's just like, God dang. Like I said, and there's just parts in that game that blew my mind. So I won't say any more than that. I just thought it was a risk. It's almost a masterpiece. It was just well done. Some people are going to hate it, and that's fine. And you can't change it. It's like Star Wars. You always got polarizing opinions. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people like the old ones. Some people like the new ones. And it's much the same with the game. But you cannot deny that it looks better. It plays better. It took risks. The length of the game was fine. It was even longer than the first game. So almost every aspect improved upon the original. And isn't that really what a good sequel is about? Is taking what was good in the first game and making it way better in the second, but not sort of being like a rehash, feeling like, oh my God, I just played this whole thing before. And I don't think it was. It was just amazing. And like I said, for those who haven't played it, when you get to the ending moments, like the last couple hours of the game, you're like, holy crap, what a ride that was. So yeah, Last of Us 2, and again, same honorable mention, Ghost of Tsushima for me. That game, I had a lot of fun with that game, but that game was like a totally different anomaly. So those are mine. Woo! All right. We're still rolling here, people. All right, we're into the first
topic.
Yeah,
Check.
But we're going to speed things up a little bit. Once we get past the first 3 or 4, the rest of this shit's going to be much quicker, guys. We don't want to keep you here too long tonight. Plus, we still got our Ask Arnold. And don't forget that Tony Baloney is in the house, and he's on standby, too. So, all right. So, let's get into the next one here. We like I said, we got a few to go. I think the next one is basically going to come down to what is topic 2, the most disappointing. For all of us, we have the game that elevates into a new level. We all set our choices. So what is the most disappointing game, or the worst game perhaps, that you played in 2020? I'm sure everybody has a pick. I know mine, but let's head around the panel once again. And I will start in the reverse order. I'm going to let my panel members take the floor in this one. Titan, if you want to have at it, let me know what was the worst game that you played this year, or at least the most disappointing perhaps.
Yeah, I tend to throw these games, in the back of my mind and the back of the backlog, and try to forget about the money, that I just wasted. I could have taken it to the casino and put it all on Red 14, but at least that way I would have gotten some excitement out of it, right? But when I saw this on the topics list, I said I had to say to myself, I said, you know what? I said, this is a really good question. Why not dig into this and see if I can avoid this in the future? Maybe there's a pattern. Maybe there's something I can learn from. So I looked at all my own games. So my previous biggest disappointment from 2018 was Fallout 76, right? So this one, this one has some pretty big shoes to fill because that game really let me down. So after some searching, and I really feel like I missed a title or two. I feel like they even slipped through the cracks of my backlog even. But so far, I think I'm gonna have to give it to a little game called Unturned. I don't know if anyone's played that because unless my son and I put some more time into it and like maybe some updates are made to it, it's going to be one of my biggest recent disappointments because it was relatively unheard of, and then I got hyped for it, and then I got kind of let down when we played it. So, but also an honorable mention. I have to give an honorable mention to Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborhood because we deleted that game after a week. And something like that needs to be highlighted. But Unturned, that's like a much smaller title with much less hype than Fallout 76. So I wouldn't put it quite up there with that level of failure. But honestly, I've had a lot of good luck with games lately. I bought a lot of really great smaller titles along with like the blockbusters I'm loving, like Cyberpunk and Valhalla. Like I love both of those. So, I mean, there you go. Let me know if anyone in the chat has either played Unturned or that new Plants vs. Zombie game, and let me know if you think I'm crazy. So have at it, Noof.
All right, great pick. All right, let's head over and let the mag let us know what has been the biggest disappointment or worst game that you played in 2020.
Okay, well, first there's going to be the first one's going to be an unconventional answer, and it's not because the game is bad, it's because I'm bad. Okay, so the only disappointment was me. I was disappointed in myself, and that's got to go to Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Is that the second one? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes. I suck at those games. I don't know what it is. They're so gorgeous and they're so well written, and the stories are excellent. The music is beautiful. The visuals are stunning. But my God, you get me into a Metroidvania style game, I get lost in 10 minutes. I don't know where the hell I'm going. I go this way, I go that way, and all of a sudden I'm looking at the map. I'm like, all right, that's not bad. I just see like the map. You know how the map sort of like appears as you go along? Then all of a sudden, after about half an hour, you get back to the map and it looks like a goddamn spider web. And then I'm like, where the hell am I now? So I'm like, what's going on? And then I'm backtracking. Okay, there's the giant frog. Okay, then all of a sudden, half an hour, I'm back at the frog. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden, there's the ledge. Jump, double jump, triple jump, then swirl, dash, jump, slide, do the electric slide, and then jump on the thing. I can't do it anymore. I'm 45 years old. I don't have the reflexes of an ADHD 14-year-old anymore, okay? I can't play these games. So I uninstalled it after about, I know, okay, I'm a fraud. Okay, Titan, go ahead. You can say it. Chat, go ahead. Have your fun. I'm a fraud. After 5 days, I uninstalled that fucking game off my hard drive. I said, enough with this game. I can't deal with it anymore. Now that I've said that, I'm probably going to reinstall it tonight before I go to bed because I don't think I can live with myself until I finish this game. Now,
I can't let it beat me.
I know, exactly, right? So as for my actual most disappointing game of 2020 has got to go to Control. I've been waiting so long for that game because I knew it was coming to Game Pass. Remember when Phil was sitting there playing Destiny 2? With the head of Bungie, and he's got his feet up on the coffee table, and he's like, "Yeah, we're really excited for Control to come to Game Pass." I'm like, "What?" And that was like last December, right? And then all of a sudden, finally, a year later, it shows up in Game Pass, right? So I'm like, "Yes, my waiting has paid off. I didn't spend the $80."
Right?
I installed this game. I start playing it. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what's happening. I don't know who's talking. People are appearing. I see security cards suspended in midair. I see these people talking. The room goes light. The room goes dark. I hear voices in my head. I don't know where to go. There's no fucking map. Okay? And I'm sitting there going, what is going on with this game? And I tried it, and I tried it, and I tried it, and I said, you know what? You're going right in the same box as Will of the Wisps. See you later, boys. I uninstalled that game after about an hour and a half. That's it.
Hey, it's good that you dodged the buying price of it, though. Thank you.
For the love of Christ. And you know, the funny thing is, I was listening to ILP. Shout out to the boys at Iron Lords. And King David said the exact same thing. He goes, I've been waiting a whole year for this game to show up on Game Pass. And he goes, and I hate it. And he's like, it is Remedy's worst game ever. So I have to. What's that, lady?
So Mag made some great points. I was going to chime in. I think Lady was laughing. I got to say, I think that this is interesting because the two picks you have there. So Ori, interesting pick, Mag, because I actually beat it. I love the Ori series, but I got to tell you, the one thing I was disappointed with Ori, and tell me if because I heard Lady kind of go, when you said that because she liked it. But the one thing that was very disappointing about Ori that I'll agree with Mag was the performance. I played it when it first came out. I played it on my Xbox One X. And the thing for Ori to be the reason people were like, why didn't Ori get a nomination? Why didn't that get pushed or elevated to Game of the Year on the awards? Mm-hmm. The thing about that game that was the biggest fault of it, even though Mag, your points are definitely notable and they make sense because the map is a bit ridiculous. But to be honest with you, the fact that I'm jumping the whole thing with the triple jump, double jump, and being able to go from it's a platformer after all, right? So here we are, we're talking about a platformer, and the fact that it was like stuttering out at like it felt like it was drop at times to maybe like 4 frames a second.
Oh my god!
Anyone who played it knows what I'm talking about. It happened to all of us. Like it was just like it took away from the experience. Part of this game that's more alluring to me than the beautiful colors and the amazing backdrop is that flawless motion that the Ori is supposed to have through the air, and it's such unbelievable. Like I said, it's flawless as you're jumping from leap to leap, pattern to pattern, and you're actually getting that like mid-air jump where you can do like the arrow and point yourself and like shoot into another direction. It should be bang, 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 just like this. Literally, the way you snap your finger is the way he's supposed to be moving. Right. And I think they got there now, but when the game came out, all the way till about now, it doesn't perform that way, and that's a big problem. That's a huge problem, and that's why when I saw on the July 23rd show that Xbox put out, and they were like, "Well, now you can play Ori at 120 frames." I'm like, "Dude, let's work on fixing the 60 you couldn't get to about a week ago." Okay, why are we jumping to 120 when you couldn't hit 30? So that was my biggest issue. So I'm with Meg on that. Now I will say, Meg, it's so funny. The only reason I chimed in was because I actually loved Control.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I know. It's not, and don't get me wrong. Let me explain it. Everything again that you critiqued is correct, but the problem with it is that you got to stick with. You really got to get. I hate it when people say this. You got to play. You don't need to play 10 or 15 hours, but you really got to play about 5 hours of it, 6 hours of it to get your bearings, and then you understand. I will promise you this much: even when you get to the end of it, you're like, "What the hell's going on?" But right, you do. But I will say this much. I actually thought it was one of Remedy's better since the Alan Wake game.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that if Microsoft actually ponied up the money, Quantum Break could have been what Control was. And I think that if you take Quantum Break's story, which was better, and you take the mechanics of Control, you have yourself a hit game. Because to be honest with you, the shooting, the fighting, the floating, the gravitating, and the speed style type of game that Control gave you with the story, the acting, and some of the better let's just call them Hollywood actors, the acting, everything that was better in Quantum Break. Put those two together, you got yourself an award-winning game. I think that both were kind of lacking in those categories. But I would say, you know what, Meg, try it out again and go a little bit further with it. The fun aspect of Control is when your character gets all of those powers, because once you get those powers toward the end, you're basically Magneto with a gun. You know what I mean? So it's a good time. But and I want to bring one more thing. This is where the show is going to get derailed a bit. But I got to bring up one thing, and I've been saying this, and I've been saying it's very hard to put this into words. But when you go and buy a game for $60 out of your pocket, and then you bring it home, you will be GD'd. You'll be goddamn that you will not try to finish that game, or you will try it until you literally are sick to death of it. And that's one of my biggest critiques of Game Pass is I'm going to wait for Game Pass to get it. Well, the thing with Game Pass is the minute you put it on, if it immediately doesn't, and this happens to me too. This is not Meg. This is a me problem. The minute I put a Game Pass game on that I waited for it to go into Game Pass and it just doesn't meet my fancy in that first hour, I'm like, who cares? It's like disliking, it's like
kind of like buying a gym membership, right? You're
no, it's even better. It's like disliking a book in a library. You're like, who gives a fuck? There's another 7 million. You know, so that's the problem here. Is like, but when you go and you buy something, you're like, I'm gonna play the shit out of this.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And the thing with Game Pass that I think I have been trying so hard over the years to try and explain this to an audience And a lot of people who are just big fans of Game Pass, they don't understand. That's where I came up with, Game Pass is great. It's great value. I get it. I understand. It's fantastic. I'm not arguing that. But what I'm saying is it takes a bit of the shine off of games sometimes, because what ends up happening is you try it, and if it doesn't meet that 5% that you love, you go, it's a book in a library.
You know what? He's got
like going to the theaters to watch a movie versus watching the movie.
Yes, earlier.
Yes,
if
Lady, exactly. It's like a Netflix show versus a theater performance. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was going to say earlier, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, well, I'm sorry, guys, you're probably used to bad games by now.
Oh my God!
Lover, I am sad.
Mooch is right. Mooch is right 100% there, because it's what I call the Game Pass syndrome. And I mean, I'm subscribed to Game Pass until the second coming of Christ, so it's not a problem.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and I'm going to be playing all those big bangers when they come along down the road. Absolutely. But yeah, you know what, though? On a subconscious level, Mooch is 100% right, because I don't even think I consciously mean to do it, but I am doing it because I'm going, I didn't really pay for it. So
same here.
If I'm paying like 80, like for example, I'm not going to get into this because we're going to talk about it later in the show. I'll save that example for later. But you know what? There is one game, Doom Eternal, which did show up on Game Pass, and I played the living hell out of that game. I put in about 65 hours into that game, and I couldn't stop playing it. You know what another one was Rage 2, believe it or not. Rage 2, I 100% completed that game. I could not stop playing it. But other than those two exceptions, the other Game Pass games, I kind of rip through them and just not even really care. Whereas if I buy one, I'm going to go for that 1,000 out of 1,000, or I'm going to go for that platinum trophy.
Absolutely.
So you know what? I know what you mean, but I don't. But it's not like that exactly with me, because I don't like the Mooch. The way you explained it, I don't think I've been that way since I was like a little kid when I went to Blockbuster and rented a game for like 3 days, and I was I gotta beat this game. I only got 3 days. I gotta play the hell. Don't even go to sleep for 3 days. I gotta play it every second I got it.
Right.
And now it's like, we got Game Pass and we got it for all this time, and we're grown-ups and we're buying our own stuff. And it's like, it's kind of like when you get too much of a good thing, I guess you could say, like, I guess that's where your opinion and my opinion kind of meet, because I don't necessarily agree with yours, but I can see where they kind of, the gray area, right? I can see the kind of gray area from yours and my opinions. And where that is the kind of like, the overwhelming number of games that are in there, like, well, fuck! I played this game for 5 minutes. I don't give a fuck. Like, my mind's not blown. I got 100 more to play.
Right.
But
the
other thing that comes to mind, though, and Titan, I like your point there. With now that we're old enough, we can buy what we want. That leads me to kind of point B, and that is like today, right? So I was just in the mall. I stopped over. I always stop at GameStop to see what's going on. And wow, like that, what is it? Phoenix, or guys, tell me if I'm right. Phoenix Immortal, or that game looks absolutely amazing.
God and Monsters.
That game came out like 8 days ago. It's already $40. Like, let me just give you guys all the games that everyone's like, oh my God, Control's finally in, and I'm not talking about Meg. I've seen this all over the internet. Like, Control's finally there. Doom Eternal's finally there. These games are like $15 now. Like, my point being is, like, by the time they get to Game Pass, I'm kind of like, so what? And if I wanted to play Control that bad, I'm using Titan's example, right? We're older now, right? We have the money to be able to go do it. Like, if I really, if Control, which by the way, this wasn't the case, but if Control was a game I was dying to play all year long, and when it came out, I just go get it. I'm not going to sit there with 15 pennies in my hand, go to a local fountain and throw them in and be like, please let it go into Game Pass. Please let it go into Game Pass. Please. No, I'm going to go buy the game and play it. Right? So, like, I'm not going to sit here on my hands and wait for a game to land in Game Pass. Maybe if Phil cuts a deal. We know how good at cutting deals he is. That's the thing. I don't necessarily buy into that. So I'm kind of, actually, that gray area is interesting. I can see where Titan says he's not really feeling what I'm saying. I'm not necessarily on his game, but I'm meeting you in that gray area, Titan, because you made a hell of a point. Matt, go ahead. I know you had a comment too.
I just had one last quick thing to say before Nufa takes over here. The one thing I wanted to say quickly was we're in limbo right now with Game Pass, because all those studios that they have purchased, I know it's the same old regurgitation. All the studios that they purchased, the games are coming. But when those games come, and let's just say, for argument's sake, those games are 9s and 10s, okay, from top tier studios. Let's say, they become the new Naughty Dogs and the new Sony Santa Monica's and this and that. Right? If those games are 9s and 10s and they're unforgettable experiences, will those still have the Game Pass syndrome? That's my question, because I don't think they will. If they are games like Last of Us 2, where you cannot forget the experience, going, wow, that was that changed my life this year. I don't know if that's going to be one of those things where it's more like, flight or fancy when it comes to Game Pass. They have to prove that in the next 2 years. That's what they got to do. So right now, there's not really anything first party in there, right? It's just like you're saying, it's all those games that have been there 8 months, 9 months, whatever, that have, released like a Doom Eternal, that kind of stuff. Fantastic games. Right. Now they're first party games. But when Doom 3, whatever the hell they want to call it, comes out, and if it's like a 10 or a 9.5 and it's an unforgettable experience, or let's say Elder Scrolls 6 ends up in there day one, or Avowed, and let's say Avowed wins Game of the Year 2023. Okay, whatever. Let's just say. How can you ignore that?
No,
that's the thing.
Ignore it, Meg, but the thing you have to remember is this: look at certain things here. Let me ask you this much, just from your, did you enjoy or play Fallout 4?
Yeah, I did, and it was all right.
Okay, so guess what? Fallout 5, you're gonna feel the same way. That answers part of your question, right? So there's that. But the other part of it is the monetary part. You've already got Watch Dogs Legions came out a month and a half ago. It's $29 everywhere, right? As a matter of fact, I tried to give somebody a copy the other day, and they actually threw it back at me. My point being is like this is what I'm saying. So when you say that these games are going to go in there, you're right. There's going to be one or two bangers that you absolutely are right, and it's undisputable. But even Doom Eternal, which I'll give you credit, Doom Eternal was a very good game. That game, after 30 days, after 30 days, that was almost half price. It was $30 as well, because it didn't do well. So even if, and don't get me wrong, that's not to change anyone's opinion on what they think of games. We're just having a conversation here. But Jeff Grubb said this. Jeff Grubb was on Crossfire, the shameless plug. But Jeff Grubb came on, he said basically that the teams that work under ZeniMax at Bethesda, a lot of these teams, if Microsoft didn't make this deal, they were going to go under eventually within the next year or two, because they weren't making their money every time they made a game. Look at Evil. I loved Evil Within 2. Absolutely adored Evil Within 2. I played it twice. Loved the damn game to death. So if anyone wants to talk bad about it, not in front of me. I loved it. But again, here we are. 45 days after release, that thing was $29.99.
Why is that not in Game Pass yet, by the way?
That's a great question. That's
own the goddamn game, and they're kind of skimpy on what's going on right now.
Well, you know what it is? They say the deal's not done. That's the thing. We also have to
it's true. February.
Microsoft's really treading lightly here. We're saying that they're going to go ahead and announce all these things and put all these games in there. They're walking on eggshells because the deal's not done. And when you're talking about a deal that's $7.5 billion, literally somebody could sneeze wrong and blur some of the ink, and they can go haywire. So there's a lot of things that are still. There's probably one of the things is one of the companies that's under ZeniMax. One of the, and I can't remember them. God, it's escaping me right now. But it's a Japanese-owned developing team, and there is a lot of rules and regulations about Japanese developing teams being bought out by any other country.
Yes,
so that may be something.
Ghostwire, right?
I believe so. Yes. Yeah. So that's my. But my point being that there's a lot of things that could hold it up. But yeah, that's the thing when it comes down to it. And I like where Mag's going, because I've actually tried. I've sat here and tried to do these different scenarios in my head. I'm kind of like at night. Yeah, that's what I do. I'm right between podcasts. I sit there like Doctor Strange and trying to figure out the 1 out of 14 billion ways that Microsoft can make Game Pass work. But, right? But in all honesty, that's the thing. The teams and the companies that they have acquired, until we see new IP, that's what's really going to be the big banger. Because Fallout 5, yes, it's a big game, but no one's really striving to get Fallout 5. Nobody's like, oh my God. Like people who have a PlayStation and only a PlayStation are not going to go buy a Series X because Fallout 5 is in Game Pass. It's just not. I don't think that's going to be a go-to.
Fallout 4 and Fallout 7. No, I agree. I agree with that.
Okay. 100%. Yeah. Well, let's try to reel it back in here, guys. Like I said,
sorry.
You haven't even given me disappointing. We're gonna go with Lady. Lady, what is your most disappointing game of the year? Then we'll get Mooch's take on it.
Oh goodness, I am going with something a little outside the box with a remaster that I was super excited for. Something that played a big part that I played a lot of back when it was fresh on the 360, and I am going with Kingdom of Amalur Re-Reckoning. It was not what I wanted. I just feel like they didn't do much. It was like, fucking here's some face paint. I'm not going to fix the anything, the map. Like nothing was really done right. And I was like, I really wanted to come into this game and have all of the kinks and shit worked out. And all it was like, somewhat better graphics, maybe. I don't know. I just didn't. It didn't grab me like I wanted it to.
Back in the remake done wrong, eh?
in my yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time, isn't that kind of the fucking thing? There's
just knew
remakes
better
and
than
there's
us.
remasters. Like, I mean, and this was a remaster. I should say this was a remaster.
Right.
It wasn't a remake. I should do
Mhm.
that. But it just didn't it didn't live up to the hype that I wanted into my head. And because I loved it so much the first time around, I thought I was going to come into it and I was going to sink all these fucking hours. And I got like maybe 25 hours into it. And I was like, nah, I fucking did this. I'm done.
And that's why, because you like felt like you played it.
Yeah.
You feel like you played it already? Because I've never played the original.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what it was for me. Like, and I wanted it to fix like all of the bugs that it had the first time around. I wanted like all these little like kinks to be worked out, and they didn't do that. Like, it was brighter and it was fresher, maybe like it looked a little bit better, but overall, nothing had really.
I felt the same kind of way about Baldur's Gate. Like, it was kind of the same thing. I felt a lot of what you're saying about Baldur's Gate. Yeah,
and just as a title that like meant a lot to me that I really loved. I wanted to love it, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm not 100% sold on this shit. So
well,
that's where I was.
really, that's really too bad. And obviously, you raise a good point too, because I think a lot of people were hoping that if Kingdom of Amalur, the remaster, came out and did really well, it could potentially sort of spur a sequel at some point. Maybe someone would take it on.
Yeah.
But, I mean, according to like my friends list, I heard lots of people talk about this remaster leading up to the release, but I hardly see anybody play it. So I'm thinking, I don't think this game, it either just came out at the wrong time, just didn't add enough. I don't know, but you raise a great point.
It had a great story, and you know what happened with that game? The studio went under not long after release. Not very long at all. Like, when I picked it up, I got it on sale on the 360. Like, I didn't play it at launch at all. And I had grabbed all the DLC from the store, and actually it had already gone under, so I didn't even get the DLC. Like, I had to fucking be on the phone with Xbox like, yo, it's not even giving it to me because the studio doesn't exist right now. So, I mean, it was a fucking thing. And like, I feel like it could have gone places because it was an amazing RPG. Like, I felt like the story was there. The colors and the graphics for 360, amazing. The colors and the graphics for my Xbox One, not that great. Like, maybe it's just the generation gap, whatever, but it just wasn't there for me this time around, which was upsetting, I guess.
Yeah, it probably would have been better if it was actually like a remake, much like, they did, like Blue Point does amazing remakes. But a great pick. Let's get over and find out what Mooch's worst or most disappointing game was of the year.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. This is kind of a heartbreaker. I'm shocked. I thought I could have swore that one of you guys would have brought this up. I really was looking forward to it. I played it for a while, and honestly, I'm not done with it. I literally put it aside until the next gen patch comes out. But it would be Marvel's Avengers. I really played.
I didn't even pick it up.
I know I did. I believe I mooched it, but nonetheless, that's not the point. But I think that I got to be honest with you. The game is a lot of fun. It is fun. It's just it's convoluted with kind of just a bunch of nonsense. And what they're trying to do is it's difficult when you're trying to do something like Destiny's doing, but you're doing it with melee for the most part. It's difficult. And if you don't believe me, just ask Godfall developers. It's not an easy thing to do. And I think that the game itself, I'm just an absolute Marvel fan. Like, and I can't say that I was that huge Marvel fan as a kid. And I've actually become one in the past like 10 years where like I just watch everything. I try to read everything about it. I dig it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think they did a great job here with the voice acting. They went and got some stellar Troy Baker's in it. Nolan North's in it. Like, there's some great people that are in the game, voice acting, and bring a bit of realism to the character. But I think that it needs to be polished a little bit. It needs to be cleaned up a little bit. They didn't have anywhere near groundbreaking bugs like Cyberpunk did, but they had some problems. So I'm waiting for the PS5, Xbox patch for 2021 to get it on Series X and PS5. That's when I think we'll be able to really give it a true critique. But it's a shame because that game also sold it didn't sell that well, actually. But it should have done better, and I'm shocked that more Marvel people did, because it wasn't like the game really just relied on its morals. Like, it wasn't like, look, we're a Marvel game, so come buy it. They didn't do that. There's a lot of content there. There's a lot to do, and I think that the characters are unique in its own way. The biggest issue, I think, again, I'll say this one last point. We'll go on to our next topic. Is they should have allowed your character to show the gear, and I thought that wasn't that big of a deal because this is one of those situations where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If the developers made you put on, like, let me give you an example, right? You're Captain America, and you go out there, right? And it's the beginning of the game, and you get one of the new like chest armor pieces, but it just looks like a shield with like nails in it. Remember when you're starting anything, it looks like garbage. And imagine if your Captain America's walking around with a shield with nails in it. Like, you'd be like, that's not my Captain America. This game sucks, right? So what they did was they were like, listen, we realized throughout the entire duration of this game, you're going to be leveling up your armor a million times. We're going to give you different skins throughout the comics to give all of you, like, the fans out there a little, like, you know, a little fan knowledge and a little fan like courtesy to be like, this is the Captain America different themes from 1940 all the way till now that he looked like. So you can earn those themes and those character models, but that way the gloves, right, or the badge or the shield doesn't change the true Captain America image, which is also probably something that Marvel didn't want to do because you don't want to make a cool looking character and all of a sudden the video game makes your guy look like a homeless bum under a bridge, right? So like, he's Captain America. So I think you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But the part on the gamer side is you're sitting there as a gamer and you're like, I earned this armor and I don't even get to show it, right? So it was like, what did I work for? Oh, the fact that my Captain America is stronger now, but none of my friends can see it because we have the same skin that we earned. So there's damned if you do, damned if you don't. They eventually, I mean, looking at it from Monday Morning Quarterback, they picked the wrong thing, but I really didn't blame them for doing what they did early on.
I'm so jealous of Mooch right now because he's like, my most disappointing game of the year. Well, I liked this and I liked that. And I played some more.
I fucking enjoyed this game, but I hate it.
I was going to say Cyberpunk, but I'm like, that's boring. I mean, that was one that it wasn't
I
disappointing.
thought everybody was going to say Cyberpunk, to be honest.
Cyberpunk is definitely my most disappointing. But Avengers is the one that I think has more of a topical piece for the show because it did let me down a little bit because I thought that was going to be something that I was going to be playing like Destiny style playing. And I didn't.
Cyberpunk can still make a comeback too. Like Cyberpunk has it in them. Like I feel like, I mean, look at The Witcher. I mean, it's going to make its comeback. I put it down and I'm going to pick it back up. That's where I'm at with it. So
Cyberpunk is not bad game design. It's flawed that obviously it could have used another 6 months probably of polish, and the fact that they tried to put this damn game in everything but your friggin' grandmother's refrigerator. So that's worse than that. But anyway, finish your thoughts, or Mooch.
No, that's basically it. I don't want to take much more time. We have a lot of topics, but I mean, I think ultimately that's what it comes down to. Is I thought I would be. That's why I call it my disappointing as far as the other games. There's a lot of games that came out in 2020. That was a game that I thought I would be playing as much as I played Destiny, and I didn't. I kind of left it early on because it just didn't resonate with me with the armor. It didn't resonate with me with the melee. And and then they said they were going to give us the next gen update patches in December, and now they moved it to 2021 sometime in air quotes, whatever that means. But I mean, that's my whole thing. I think that, myself personally, I think Cyberpunk is probably, of course, the bigger disappointment because I thought Cyberpunk was going to be us turning that corner into 2021 and changing us going from Gen 8 into Gen 9. I think Laidy's right that they will fix the problems. I just my only problem at the end of the day is the problems they're going to fix don't make the game better.
Mooch, I think you're gonna be let down until they absolutely let the last gen completely go. Like,
well, I mean, that's true, but that's a completely different subject, Titan. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like if everybody on this panel was part of CD Projekt Red, and we were like, for the last 8 years, we're like, we're making something revolutionary. You've never experienced anything like this. This is gonna be the best thing you've ever had.
Promises. It was the fucking promises, and that's what it comes down to with Cyberpunk. It's not the gameplay. It's not the bugs. It's not anything. It's the promises. It's what they told us we were going to get, and it is what we got. So
absolutely
absolutely. Well, me and Mooch are on the same page entirely tonight, it seems like, because my most disappointing game of the year is the Avengers, and I'll tell you why. I waited a very long time for this game. I had super high hopes for this game simply because it's based around one of the largest properties in the world, and that's the Avengers. And they're riding a real high now with all the plethora of movies. Now, it's kind of funny that this game really doesn't come out tied right into a movie, but that's probably better off. Now, I was digging the first level. I love the bridge scene. I love how they set things up. I love getting to dabble with each of the superheroes, and I thought the graphics were magnificent. Sure, they didn't use the actual, the movie characters, although they have a lot of the suits and stuff that look very similar, if not almost identical, and I thought that was great. And I thought the combat mechanics felt fine and stuff like that. That wasn't the issue. But my issue with the game is it just felt like right after the opening, it became a trudge. It became repetitious. It became the grind fest. And like Mooch said, it's not when you're doing a lot of melee stuff and you're grinding, it just started to lose interest really quick for me. I found a lot of the enemies were boring on the same level that I found the DBs and Gears to be just uninteresting and boring. And who the fuck is this girl, this Kamala? Like, I was like, who the fuck is this? I don't even know who the fuck she is. Like, why am I playing so much as fucking Mr. Rubberhands? Like, Mr. Stretch Armstrong, for fuck's sake. I was like, I don't want to play as this chick. I want to play as the fucking Hulk. And that's the thing. And when I played as the Hulk, okay, and this is coming from a guy who played Ultimate Alliance on the Switch and the other games, or playing the older Hulk games. Remember back on like the Xbox when it was Hulk Ultimate Destruction? Yes. He felt amazing. He could jump high. He was smashing the crap out of buildings. And he really felt like the Hulk. Like this Hulk should be this almost Superman power, like just plowing through shit. And in this game, when I got a little pipsqueak motherfucker with a shield standing in front of me and I'm whacking the crap out of him and can't kill him, I'm like, all right, there's a problem with this right there. Like the Hulk could destroy this guy and he should feel that way. And if there's a game design problem, if a guy like the Hulk feels like he's he's ordinary next to a stupid little shithead who's a human being with a shield. Am I not right? Or am I?
Yeah.
You're
right. You're automatically like taken out of the scenario.
Like that's the thing with Spider-Man. The difference between the Spider-Man game and this game is Spider-Man made you feel really good and powerful, kind of from the get-go. You just got a lot better by the time you rounded up all of the stuff in the suits because they had different abilities. But right from the get-go, you felt like Spider-Man. You weren't like kind of held back because the game was trying to basically keep you in the world by leveling you up in a certain way, if that makes any sense. So they did it right with Spider-Man and Insomniac, and I think fucking Crystal Dynamics fucking totally fucked up with this game. Now, some people love it for the exact reasons I'm bitching about, and that's cool, but I just couldn't dig it. And you know what the other biggest letdown is? This is the team that made my favorite fucking two games almost of this generation. Crystal Dynamics made Tomb Raider, the reboot, and then they made the Rise of the Tomb Raider. So I had huge expectations for them, and they really let me down. I'm like, wow, you are given a gift. You are given the biggest property in the world right now, and you screw it up. I'm like, I'm sorry, like it's just not good. If you love the game, I'm not trying to dissuade people, but I lost interest in a hurry. I have no plans to go back. It's just not my kind of game. I don't want a level up purple weapon, yellow weapon, blue weapon. And like Mooch said, you don't notice, you can't see anything, so anything you kind of gain is just kind of there invisibly. It's kind of like a fart. You know what happened, but you can't see it. You know what I mean? So that's how it is. So that was the big problem for me. And Hulk is one of my favorite of the entire Avengers. I just love the Hulk. I love that he's just a big brain dead fucking just smash everything up. Because I'm pretty sure if I was a superhero, that's probably who I'd end up being, like fucking Hulk smash. That would be. But anyway, that's my most disappointing game of the year, simply because it came with a level of hype that was nearly up there with Cyberpunk. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do one more topic. Sorry.
I don't see Square like supporting it for too long. Me personally, I feel like it's going to be something left in the dust. So
So like I mean, like I said, some people love it. I'm it's cool that you tried new things, like I said, with Kamala. But like to me, honestly, she could have been a side character or introduced in a different way. It felt like she was the main, and everything else was just fucking go along with it. But anyway.
It's crazy how we're not no one's creating new iconic characters. Anything new is like, what the hell is this?
Because it's too risky. The companies don't want to risk the money for something that nobody knows about.
True. You guys all just talked about Abby.
Well,
no, but that was an established game.
Well,
though.
Game of Thrones.
You knew that Last of Us, the name itself would have sold 10 million copies just on the name.
I could see TV is doing it, like with Game of Thrones. Like those are iconic characters, I was called. But as far as anything else, it's like they're just all dropping the creative ball.
Right, but see, Game of Thrones, same thing. You got the name Game of Thrones. Everybody knows Game of Thrones. You're going to get millions of viewers just because of the name Game of Thrones.
So we didn't know Game of
The
Thrones.
Targaryens. No, I know what you're going. The Targaryens.
Right, but it's a safe bet. Right?
I get the feeling if Titan Drago was a Game of Thrones character, he'd be fucking. He'd be what's his name?
I'd be the fucking mountain. Fucking
Titan would be fucking Tyrion Lannister for sure.
100%.
What was it? What's so special about you? Well, I drink and I know things.
I
love that fucking line.
Hey, I have that shirt.
Back to sense.
Oh man! All right, so we're gonna get into the next topic. Then we're gonna have the Ask Arnold. So get your questions ready. Like I said, we're gonna try to speed things up a little bit. Like I said, because we've got so many, and they will get faster because these are probably the biggest topics of the night. Right off the get go is the best game and your worst game. So we're gonna go with this one's a little smaller. Your biggest game surprise of the year, something that caught you by surprise that you played and we're kind of like, wow, I'm really impressed that I actually really like this game, or kind of came out of nowhere. So we're going to start with that. And I'm going to get mine out of the way first this time. We're going to go in reverse order. And I'm going to say it right now. This game came completely, it's not even really a game, it's DLC, but it came completely out of left field. I didn't even know this existed. I don't think anybody in the Xbox community knew it did. Gears 5 Hive Busters. That shit is actually Game Buster. Like, holy man, on my Series X right now, that is blistering my eyeballs. That shit is amazing. It runs fluid as fuck. It plays amazing. It looks incredible. The characters are awesome. The game is a little short because, again, it is DLC, but it's not expensive. Or if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can play it for free. But all I can say, I'm a huge Gears head. I love 5, but this DLC was done right. I can't believe it was done largely without Rod Ferguson. It might have started before he left, but I think the large part of it was done without him. And they ran with it. And as far as I'm concerned, they kicked it right through the uprights and scored a goal on this one, man. This is amazing. Gears 5 High Buster. If you love Gears at all, you have to play it. It's nuts. You can play 3-player co-op. Unlike Gears 5, where one of you guys gets to play as a lame fucking robot Jack or whatever. No, you can actually do 3 characters in this one at the same time. And it's just nuts. And it basically sets up the whole escape mode from Gears 5. You kind of figure out how that kind of came about, because that's essentially where this one sort of ends, is where that one starts, all that sort of shit. It is awesome. So yeah, for me, it's got to be Gears 5 High Busters, because it came out of nowhere. It surprised the hell out of me, and it's so damn good. Simple as that. All right, who wants to go next?
Legit. Yeah, well, surprise game. I don't know if it came out this year, but I played them this year. Stranded Deep and Dungeons 3. Stranded Deep. If you like survival games, this game is for you. Let me tell you, man. Especially like a lot of survival games, you like don't have an ending. This one has a legit ending that you can beat, and oh my god, Stranded Deep does literally everything in a survival that you want. It's got exploration, it's got everything all wrapped up into one with a good ending, and it kind of leads you on to a possible sequel. So there's mine, real quick, short for you. There you go.
Wow, that was quick.
I totally took this question wrong, and I thought you were talking about the biggest surprise of the year in gaming overall, and I was like, oh my god, definitely fucking Xbox picking up Cinemax or PlayStation purging CP or Cyberpunk, like one of those two. But if we're talking about game that has totally surprised me, I'm not even that far into it yet, but I'm going with Immortals Phoenix Rising. Like I am really enjoying it from what I've seen. The humor is there, the graphics are there. It's fucking an amazing game. So yeah.
That was quick.
I'm
great pick though. Great pick. I get
what I need to get done.
Yeah. What? Say what? Yeah, so Immortals is definitely a must buy. You really enjoyed it. I mean, I heard it's kind of like a mix between Assassin's Creed and Breath of the Wild. It kind of reminds me when I look at it of Breath of the Wild. It's kind of got a bit of an aesthetic there.
Yeah, it's got the puzzles. It's got the like colorful pictures. I don't know. It's a fun game. Graphics are there. I love it. I'm loving it.
A bit of a surprise because it wasn't overly hyped. It used to be called, what was it, Gods and Monsters?
Gods and Monsters. Right? Yeah, it was Gods and Monsters. And I was like looking at it for months, like, oh, this is something that I could get into. I love mythology. Yeah. I have a whole shelf on my bookcase dedicated to mythology. I have Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, Norse. Like I am super into it. So it's been something that I've kind of had my eye on. And then, yeah, a couple months ago when it was like, well, we're changing the name to Immortals because Monster doesn't want us to use the name Monsters. But yeah, no,
Okay.
it's really got my attention. I'm really enjoying it.
The lead character seems pretty cool. So you think this game itself may have a potential franchise in the works here?
I gotta ask Lady another question too. Does it revolve? I'm a huge mythology fan myself. I like Greek mythology a little bit more than the Norse. That
Greek,
we've kind of been getting spoon fed the Norse more and more and more throughout.
Yeah, more and more since Vikings has come out,
right?
right?
And
Like
It's all
that's the thing.
mythology.
I'm okay with that, but I mean, like, I'm a big Iliad and the Odyssey fan, so I mean, I'm with you on all that. Does the Immortals game focus more on the Greek?
Greek.
Oh, absolutely, the Greek mythology, and they make it fun. Like I don't know if you read books, and if you've ever read like Rick Riordan's book series, like Percy Jackson and stuff like that, but they make like the fun take on mythology that I feel like when you look at Greek mythology, you can't take it fucking seriously, and they fucking go with that, and they do it really well. The writing is there, and it's funny, and it makes me laugh, and it's probably one of the most like story-driven games that I've really gotten into when it comes to humor in a long time. So
I've got the Mooch symbol up for Immortals. I'm looking right now. Nope, that hasn't been gifted yet.
it's on sale right now. You know what? It was gifted to me. I can't even lie. I'm a mooch.
Hey.
Everybody, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I got most of these games. I am also a mooch. So
Well, welcome to the club. We're always accepting new members. Right? I think that's great. No, honestly, I really think between Twitter and what Lady just said, like I'm so sold on this game. I almost want to put down the games that I'm playing right now and play that game.
Great game. I really think that it surprised me because I knew I was gonna like it for the mythology aspect, but it's surprising me with the narrative and just the overall way that they're going about it. Like you're running around while they're telling a story. It's kind of a fantastic feeling.
Makes me wonder about the game too, because this game actually you can buy this game for the Switch though. I was kind of like, huh? It's on the Switch too, so
look
I
at
don't
the
know.
graphics. They go the cartoon route. They're going more of the not high def, not like, you know, I'm looking at this as a realistic thing. You're going for more of that Nintendo feel in a way, and it's still beautiful. It's a beautiful fucking game for what it is. It's not going to give you fucking, you know, Tulu feels, but it's going to give you amazing Nintendo feels in my mind. And as a Nintendo fan and stan, like I get it. I'm there for it.
There you go. So the graphics are blowjob worthy, but not fuck worthy, right? There you go.
There it is.
Who doesn't like a solid throat fucking, guys?
Hey now.
There's a couple of guys in here who need some throat soothing tonight, I think. All right. I had to make sure everybody's still awake in here. All right. How about Meg?
I'll keep it short and sweet. I got to say, I got to agree with Noof there. I had no idea that Hivebusters was coming, and I just started it. But, man, it is magnificent. And like I said, I played Gears 5, a year and a half ago, and I was done with it. I'm not really good at the multiplayer, so I didn't really get back into it once I was done the story. And that was that. And then all of a sudden this came out, and I'm like, okay, I thought it was just going to be like an online DLC. I had no idea it was a story DLC. And so far, it's absolutely magnificent. And, you know, shout out to Boomstick. The guy's been busted on my chops all week. He's like, you got to play Hivebusters. You got to play Hivebusters. You got to play Hivebusters. And I'm like, all right. So I finally gave it a shot. And, oh, my God, it's magnificent. That's one surprise. And mostly it's a surprise because I didn't know it was coming. The other one that was a surprise to me, and I know I've already mentioned this twice before this evening, is Doom Eternal. Now, I know Doom Eternal is a big game and that kind of thing, but I wasn't a monster fan of the 2016 Doom. I thought it was great. Okay, I'm like, all right, this is good, but I didn't love it. And I barely squeezed through that story, right? I was just like, I just want to get this done. So I got it done, and I never touched it again. Never went back, never played multiplayer, never played the story on harder difficulty, nothing. So I did the same thing with this one, walking in with the same expectations of 2016. I just kind of wanted to blow through the story, see how it would go. But my God, the first hour, and I was like, this game is unbelievable. And I ended up pumping in like 60, 65 hours into that game, and I couldn't put it down. So to me, that was a huge surprise because I didn't expect it to be even that much better than the 2016 one. And if you line them up next to each other, it is night and day. That Doom Eternal is absolutely leap years beyond the 2016 one. And they kept it a little bit, I mean, as grounded as it's going to get with that kind of storyline, but it was a little bit more grounded because there were things happening on Earth. Okay, so like you had cities, you had burnt out cities and subways and things like that, and you know what I mean, something you could recognize, as opposed to just like these areas of just, okay, we're in hell, we're just a bunch of red rocks and fire everywhere, right? So it was like it was it had a little bit of like a post-apocalyptic feel to it, which of course I enjoy. And anyways, yeah, so those are my two surprises. Immortals, I cannot talk about. Because I do have behind the scenes, I have an affiliation with Ubisoft Toronto. And I will leave it at that. But I did play it before other people did. And I still can't really talk about it. But I'll just say that I'll put that as an honorable mention.
Nice. Very good, guys. I love the picks. We are now at that point of it's Ask Arnold. So hopefully the chat's got a few questions lined up. And speaking of the chat, it's been amazing tonight, guys. We're 72 tonight. We got some great people in the house, including some faces that Lady knows all too well. Leonidas is up in the house. What's going on? We got Terrence Tate in here. J-Dub was a shill.
I have that name every week.
Let's go. Jesse Darby, Pong Soul, Spider-Man, Joe Dummo. Fun Speculation is here. I want to call him Fun Speculum all the time. I don't know why. We got Spider X3. Dr. Dinglenut is here. Your favorite Meg.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. The Doctor, Red Raven, Game Genie Prime. Jesse Darby, Princess Zelda is here. Jay Slayer J. The list goes on. Chipmunk. Great people in here tonight, guys. Timothy Dixon, my buddy Seamus Kelly. What's up? Kevin Medeiros. How are you doing, Kevin? All right, let's keep it going. So it is now time for Ask Arnold. Does anyone on the panel have a question to get us going? And I'm only going to do a couple tonight. Won't do too many, maybe 3.
Noof, now that we've got another year and do you feel a year older or do you not feel the age hitting you?
Oh my God, Titan, I swear to God, this year has been terrible. I mean, my God, I feel like I've aged about 40 years. I mean, we haven't been able to do things. I haven't really been able to get out all that much. I've been out a few times on my fat bike and doing things, and taking and I don't know if you've seen the videos, but I like to show off I have 2 donkeys, which means I get a lot of ass around the house. It's great. This is what I've been doing, smoking ciggies and stogies. I've been in the hospital too. It's been a terrible year. Let's hope that everything gets better in 2021. I'm very confident that it will. But this has been an amazing podcast, and you guys have got a killer panel. And I can't believe, my God, you managed to get the Mooch and Lady in here tonight. I mean, I don't know who the hell you've been screwing or blowing or paying off, but this is an amazing show here tonight. Anyone else?
I had one from Joe Dunmore and I lost it. It was funny.
Joe Dunmore.
Oh, there it goes. Joe Dunmore. Hey, Arnold, why weren't you any of the Rocky movies?
That's a great question, because the casting person is an idiot and they didn't want to put me in there. And of course, they're like, well, how are you going to have Stallone go up against Arnold and be able to beat him time and time again? But, it was really good because in Rocky #3, they brought out Mr. T and he kicked the crap into Stallone. And then Stallone, he must have took steroids before the last match, because he come back and he beat Clubber Lang. And then he goes up against Titan Drago. And I don't know how the hell he beat Dolph Lundgren. It's never happened in real life. It's not going to happen. Dolph Lundgren would kick his ass. As a matter of fact, I think Stallone even said like Lundgren broke his ribs or something during the filming. It's a good thing he didn't break his neck. I mean, what would have happened if I was in there? I would have bench pressed him, and Mick would have had to stop the fight.
Mick was dead by then, man.
Oh yeah, Mick was gone, but even his coach would have come back like Yoda and beat his ass. All right. We got one from Princess Zelda. Arnold, what is your favorite holiday tradition? Oh, God, it's really crazy. What I like to do is to kick the family out of the house and have all the maids over, and we drink intoxicated eggnog is what I do. I like to get drunk and wake up in really weird places. Except for down at the California, the police department is not a great scene. And down there, and you're naked and everything. And they're like, what the fuck is Arnold doing here? And I'm like, yeah, you don't even want to know. I've had so many crazy Christmas toys. You never want to look in my stocking, let me tell you. You don't It's crazy, but yeah, like, you guys ever have the house to yourself and you sit there and you watch the Christmas porn? It's great. I love it. Let's do it.
Christmas
That was great.
That's a new one. That's definitely a new one.
Y'all don't watch Christmas porn?
The only thing better than an elf on the shelf is one in your bedroom. Come on, bring it.
I totally search for Santa porn on Pornhub this time of year.
Oh my god!
You do?
Now I feel dirty.
I'm gonna have to dress up like Santa. Maybe I gotta do that. Maybe I gotta, change my ways.
Buddha time in the chat, he says, what happens when you miss the chopper? Well, you know what you do? You stick out your thumb and you hope that Santa Claus is going to take you somewhere. But you know what? I feel really bad for Santa this year because it's COVID. He's got to wear a mask. He can't even eat the cookies. And he's got to drop his big bag down all the chimneys. What the fuck is with that? Come on, let's get this shit out of there. Maybe this year you drop the vaccine down and tell everybody to fuck off and let's get to go. Let's do it.
$5 from J-Dub as a shield. Is Arnold an ass man or a titty man?
I'm always said the reason I like ass is because when you're pounding them from the backside, you can't see the ugly faces. You can have any girl in the world when you're giving a doggy style is great.
I think we've had that question one way, shape, or another, like 3 times.
Episode or what?
It's a common question.
Yeah. Well, that's it for Arnold for 2020. He'll be back in the new year with more Ask Arnold. So get those questions ready. We'll bring them back again. All right, let's get into the next topic of the evening. We're going to speed things along. We're at 9:41, which is almost at the 2-hour mark. Getting there. Let's make this real quick. We'll go around. Some of these we probably could even speed up. I mean, real quickly, like what game did you spend the most time playing? It doesn't have to be even your game of the year, but what game did you spend the most time actually playing this year? I mean, I got a feeling Titan's probably Call of Duty Warzone. Am I right or right, Tim?
Actually, I don't. It's either gonna be close because it's either Warzone or Smite. You guys know me. Anyone that knows me knows I'm.
Wow.
You know me, man. Freaking, like you said, like mythology, man. There's Smite has it all. It's got Greek, it's got Rome, it's got every, you name it, mythology. It's got it, man. I love it. So freaking, I just made Diamond 5 like today, so it's been like forever since I've been a Diamond player. So that's huge. Small victory dance for me, like woo woo. But I checked it today, and I have 284 days of game time in Smite now. I spent like $700 somewhere around there. It's probably actually double that, but who knows? I as far as I can know, it's at least $700 for like the 5 years I've spent on it. But my God, I love that game. It somehow finds a way. Like they add new gods constantly, and they're at 100 gods now. They're over 100 gods, so it's like that's definitely it, man. Updates keep a game fresh, and it does it consistently.
Nice. Holy mackerel. 800 and something hours. My God. I guess you haven't had it right till you had it Smite with Titan Drago. My Lord. Dreadpool, 284 days in smut. You're calling it smut. All right, let's head around the room. Let's head over to the left side of Titan Drago on my screen, and that'll be Lady. What game did you spend the most time with this year?
That would be my game of the year, Animal Crossing. I have over 600 hours in it in the first 2.5 months, and I haven't picked it up since. So. Yeah.
Hey, Mag, you're gonna have to tell Tony Baloney he's gonna have to do a parody for Lady, and you know what the song's gonna be?
What?
I gave it all to the Nookie. The Nookie. I gave him my little cookie.
and his nephews. No,
right.
definitely.
Nook didn't even make it to the nephews. He only gave to Nook.
No, only to the Nook. And then the second one it was up there for me was and this is probably gonna be under the radar for most people. It was Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. It is a remake and a remaster of one of my all-time favorite games, Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town. So absolutely fucking adore that game, adore that series, have played almost every single one of them. And I put some solid hours in that shit too.
I almost bought Harvest Moon like 5 times over now.
I mean, honestly, it hits me in my little gamer sim heart. So.
Did you ever play Graveyard Keeper?
You know what? Every fucking person I talk to about my love of Harvest Moon, they're like, play Graveyard Keeper. And I don't.
Yep.
I still haven't. I need to. I guess I really fucking need to.
Yep.
So
It's
I'm
true.
going to pick it up. I'm going to do it. I'm going to fucking do it. Just because you specifically told me to.
It's fucking amazing.
I got a special question just for Lady. What drink did you sip on most this year? For those who don't know, Lady, when she's on with Gaming Beyond the Box and the boys, she's notorious for having a drink cup and a straw, and she's always slurping on something. So which drink did you sip on most this year?
And it has been a notorious thing for me for many years. Anybody who has followed me for the past 8, 9, 10, have as many fucking years that I've been on Twitter. Fuzzy, I don't know if you guys know who Fuzzy
Belvedere.
He has followed me from the very beginning, and he knows me. And when I showed up on these YouTube chats, he was like, "Holy fuck, is that lady?" Like, I know her from my pre-recorded podcast. But yeah,
Right.
he's great. But that's what I'm known for. It has always been box wine for me. This year, I have tried to cut the pounds. I am losing weight. So I cut out wine until this last month because fuck 2020 and fuck Christmas. But it's been White Claw. White Claw and my hard seltzers has been my drink of choice over the past fucking year. And if you had told me that in March, I would have laughed in your fucking face. But that's what it has been. And yeah.
Great stuff.
Leo, you are correct. It was definitely White Claw.
Oh.
Leo knows.
Somebody knows. Somebody's been paying attention. All right, let's get over to the mag. What game have you played the most in 2020, sir?
Well, the 2020, at least the 3 quarters of 2020 was a PlayStation year because I remember I told you at the beginning of the pandemic in March, my Xbox One X completely melted, and I didn't want to spend another $400 to get a new one. Just because I knew that I was getting 2 Series X in the fall. So what I did is I got an Xbox One S just to carry me over for multiplayer, but I didn't play anything else there. So everything else was PlayStation. And I got to realize that I frauded out hard in 2018 because, I played God of War and everything else, blah, 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 but I never got around to Spider-Man. And they had a summer sale, and it was like $19.99 for the Game of the Year edition, right? So I'm like, all right, let's just bang this out. I couldn't stop playing it. I ended up playing it for about 7 weeks. I swear to God, every single day. So the game that I spent and I platinumed it, of course, and I finished 100% of all the DLC as well. So I could not stop playing Spider-Man. So it's Spider-Man 2018 was the game that I spent the most time on. Second one was Ghost of Tsushima. That was the second one. And I didn't put that much in there, maybe about 65, 70 hours into that game. But Spider-Man, well over 120, 130 hours.
Nice. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of time. Anytime people tell me over 60 hours, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Damn.
But I mean, I went 100% on everything, right?
No, Same thing with Mag. I didn't think that Spider-Man was going to be as good as it was, and I ended up platinuming it and played very similar. I probably put about 6 weeks in myself, and it was a game I couldn't put down. And I did the same thing. I platinumed Miles Morales, 100% of that game when it came out. Just a month or so ago. Like it really, and Noof, you said it yourself as well. It really, with the minute you pick up the controller, you do feel like you're that superhero. They did a good job of putting you in that perspective right from the get-go. Do you get stronger? Do you get more abilities? Absolutely. That just makes the game. That's why you thrive to finish. But the thing about it is that like it really did make you feel really good. And they really, for the very first time, in my personal opinion, and there's about 150 Spider-Man games out there since the beginning of time. This is the first time swinging through the city felt correct. It felt right. It felt like the way it should. And I think, you can even ask Mag, myself personally, a lot of times I wouldn't really even fast travel. I would elect to just swing around because it felt great. So it really, really was an outstanding game. Good pick, man.
It is amazing pick. No, I loved how they did that one. Kudos to them. I can't wait to try Miles Morales. I know you played that, and that's the funny thing with the played most games of the year. They're not always our favorite games of the year, but they're ones that just sucked up your time more than others. That's what I find. That's why I wanted to ask this question, because the game we spend the most time with is not often always like our number one game. For some people, it is, but for a lot of us, it's not. You play this other game, and it's just because there's a different level of interaction or a different fun level, so it brings it like that. So
outside of, I mean, I definitely, I have to agree with Titan. So like, let's just leave Warzone out of the picture, because I've definitely I've just put a stupid amount of time into Call of Duty, but forget that.
It's a co-op. It's a different experience in its own. I feel like you can't really judge.
Don't take it away. You can't take it away. No,
you're not taking it away.
You're taking it away.
I think it definitely is its own category. But outside of that, I mean, this year alone, I've got to have 80 plus, maybe 100 hours into Bloodborne. Much like Mag's story with Spider-Man, I didn't take Bloodborne seriously when it came out, and I played it this year. I platinumed it 100% of the game, and I definitely had to have been. And I actually did the entire game on stream on Twitch. Yeah, I think I missed one time
That's how
I played.
I played Tertulu, was watching somebody else play it.
That's like saying
great.
well, I put a ton of hours in Destiny. Well, you did the same thing over and over and over again for however 1,000 hours.
Yeah.
You can't take that away. If you
You
love
can't.
it,
No,
love
you
it.
can't.
Absolutely
And-
not. I have thousands of hours in Destiny. It's
There
what
you go. You can't take that
Right.
away from it, right?
No,
Well, I
true.
did.
Yeah, that would be shout out to our good friend the Ash and Luca. That's her game, Destiny. Because no matter what game comes out that she talks about on her podcast or through her Twitter, every time I see her online, Destiny is like, my God, that girl lives in that game.
That game is intense, and I stopped playing it for that reason because it fucking engulfed my soul.
I feel like that was the same way for when like EverQuest first came out and maybe like World of Warcraft when that first came out, because I was in the Navy. EverQuest had been out for a while and World War just came out. Like I literally lost friends in the Navy to those games. Like I love video games. You guys know me. I'm a lifelong gamer. But I got friends that were just like literally every second they would just be on their computer, level up, play the same thing over and over. Like, wow, man. I'm like, let's go to the club. You know,
Right?
they wouldn't do it though. It's crazy.
Noof, I'm starting to think you should have cut this into 2 shows. We're
Yeah, well,
we're
we might cut out a bunch. We might skip to a couple of last. We might have the cut through because I mean I don't want to keep everybody here like 4 hours tonight, that sort of thing. But we'll do a couple more. I'll take a look here. But Mooch, finish your thoughts. What was the one that you said you spent the most?
No,
time
I did.
on?
I said Bloodborne outside of
Bloodborne,
Warzone and Call of Duty
Okay.
would be Bloodborne. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. As for me, guys, I got to say, at this point, I'm not really sure. Really haven't looked at the logistics of it, but I would say it was probably Ghost of Tsushima. And the impressive part about that is, yeah, it's a great game and I love it, but I have a hard time with open world games. I really struggle with them. I find a lot of times I get sidetracked, and by the time I'm at the 15, 20 hour mark, if I'm sort of not captivated, I'm usually like, yeah, you know what, I'm kind of done with this game. Because a lot of it starts to feel like it's the same old, but something about Ghost wrapped me in. And it was the way that you leveled up the character in such a way, because they had the island split sort of in 3 sections. And the way that they did the missions was the gear and the stuff that you actually got really made a big difference to how you interacted in the combat. And I don't know if any game has ever really done sort of like the showdown combat as cool as this game has done it. Where, like I said, it's easy to pick up and play, but it takes some time to master. And I just loved it, and I loved the characters, and I played it with the dub on, with them speaking in the Japanese language, because it just felt more authentic. And the photo mode in that game is incredible. Like, it's just a great job done by Sucker Punch. Just love the characters, the story, and the combat, and the ending and stuff too, and the stuff that happens. Like, it's just nuts. By the time you're on that 3rd island, it's a long trek, but my God, you're just like, damn, I'm gonna go all in. You know, it just was a captivating game. You know, and it's very similar to Assassin's Creed, but yet Assassin's Creed, I couldn't get into Odyssey, and I tried, and it just started to bore the crap out of me, and it just didn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game to me, honestly. So that's kind of why
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically why I didn't even buy Valhalla. I'm just like, yeah, it's just another game I'm going to be 10 hours into and go, never mind.
I hooked onto it for the mythology for that, but I got to that point too, to where I get sidetracked on those side missions, and then now I'm like 40 hours into the game, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm only on the 3rd main mission. Yeah, I get it.
Everybody has different strokes, different folks for different strokes. And I get that. But great choices from everybody. Love that stuff. Awesome stuff. So let's move right along. We got, like I said, we got more topics. The next one is just, and I'll just ask it really quick. What console did you buy this year? Did you upgrade to next gen? If so, what one did you pick? Did you pick both? And why did you pick what you picked? I'd like to know. And I'll start with the Mooch on this one. Mooch, I think you did get the Series X as well, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have Series X.
So you got them both. Okay. Yeah. So you picked them both up. Tell me why. I mean, obviously you went with both for different reasons. So why did you decide to get both? What was your selling points there?
Well, I mean, I think when it comes down to it, I mean, it's a kind of a no-brainer to start. I mean, it may not be everyone's pick, but I did pick the PS5 because of the games. Listen, I've been buying new consoles for a very, very long time, or even as a kid getting the new consoles. And one of the best things about new console releases is new games or new experiences. And whether that be the design of the box or the controller or the games are definitely going to take the front seat on that. But the controller for me is also very big. Whether you went from the NES to the SNES or you went to the N64, you can clearly see a difference in definition on the controller, right? Controller was always interesting, exciting to get your hands on something new. You've been holding that older controller for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. In our case of the Gen 7, it was 9 years. You were just ready for something new. And I really think Sony out the gate did a better job as far as being a bit more ingenuitive. Like they just stepped out and they put a better. I like the design. Is it a little weird? It's a little out there. It is. And I'm sure that both of these companies are going to have their slim models coming out in 2 years, and that's your option to buy it or not. But I do think that this is something unique. It's different. It causes attention. If you look at it, what do they always say? So any news is good news, right? So when you have something that looks as odd as the PS5 does, you have to see that. Look at the demand for it right now. You can't get it anywhere. Like it's the hardest thing to get your hands on since the Tickle Me Elmo. I mean, it's ridiculously hard, and that's because it's unique. It stands out. There's people I know that are casuals that want it just because it's so different. So there's that there. I also think the games were a big factor, right? So Microsoft deciding to go with the same controller, a very simple plan in their box design, and putting all their eggs in the Halo basket, which ended up getting delayed 12 months. There's just, I and it's funny because I said this way before the consoles launched. And of course, everybody's like, "No, you can't say that, Mooch. That makes no sense. Come on, get a hold of yourself."
Come on, Mooch.
Right? Exactly. Thank you, lady, I needed that refreshment. No, she's right. That's what I hear all the time. And now I have a lot of people that are hardcore Xbox guys, and they write me on Xbox, and they'll say, I kind of know what you mean now. I've had my Series X for about a month and change, and I've played Gears 5 17 times. What do I do with this thing? Wait. So it's like, okay. So that's the thing. And it's like, I personally feel like I got the Series X because part of your question is, why did you buy it? I don't feel it's fair to be on a podcast or have a YouTube channel where people ask you your opinion and you don't have the actual item to discuss, right? Like that's a hard part because that's a losing argument. Well, I think the Series X isn't good and there's nothing there. Do you have it? Have you tried it? No. Well, then you can't say anything. But then if you get it, people go, "Well, why'd you buy it then?" Well, it's a win some, you lose some.
We can't have our own opinion. How fucking dare you?
That's right, though.
So you can't win the argument no matter what it is. That's what's great about the internet. I found that out over the years. You just can't win.
Yeah.
Like the same people that keep telling me that VR is trash and never ever pick one up. I'm like, well, I can't take your point of view. Just because you think it's niche and it's not for you does not make it garbage. It just means it's not for you. Simple as that.
Fucking you. Like Animal Crossing.
It's got to be as nice as possible and surround yourself with the right people on this internet gig.
That's a life lesson, by the way, folks. That's not just podcasting. Like Game Gene Prime in the chat, he says, "Don't choke Mooch with his eyes up." Game Gene, let me answer me this, my good friend in the chat. Tell me what you're playing on Series X that we're all missing out on. I'm pretty sure you're going to say Gears 5. You're going to say Halo Master Chief Collection. And I've played those games. Yeah, so exactly. Like that's not necessarily something. And then you see the fact that the PS5 is outperforming the Series X. And it's like, these are things that kind of got to be brought up. You do have to discuss them. I think it's
but that's another topic because I got a lot to say about that.
Yeah,
as far as
it's part of the answer to Noof's question. Why did you buy them? I mean, that's the thing. So I mean, I think a lot of myself personally, I think that when it comes down to it, I think the Series X is a very good system. I don't have any problems with it. Works well. I have a bit of a problem with getting my controllers to stay connected. I've got 2 different Xbox Series X controllers, and sometimes they just disconnect because why not? But anyway, that's fine. But I mean, other than that, I got to be honest with you, no issues with it. It is what it is. I think that right now I'm a little bit more excited at night when I come home after a long day of work and I'm going to game. I generally do put on, whereas years back I would put on the Xbox right away. I generally gravitate a little bit more towards the PlayStation 5. Could that change?
Is it because it looks like a vagina?
Great point. I never really looked at it that way.
Well, now we can't.
Well, now the PlayStation 5 is coming right up to the. Put that right next to the television. To be honest with you, now that we're going to do it during the show.
Yeah, Mooch, make sure you get the customized pink faceplates for the thing, and then put a little black
pink taco sticker right on the side.
I mean, I think that I'm interested to hear what the rest of the panel has to say too. I think PlayStation right out the gate probably did a better job out the gate, I think. And I think you're also seeing that with sales and trends.
Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. Meg, how about you, man?
Yeah,
I
man.
think you did pick up them both. Obviously, you had your Series X before the PS5, and I love that amazing unboxing that he did of the PS5 before he got to it. So, yeah, but go ahead, brother. Tell us about your purchases and why you decided to take the splurge on not one, but two next-gen consoles.
Yes, I ended up purchasing 5. I got, I swear to God, yeah, I got 2 Series X, I got a Series S, I got a PlayStation 5 digital, and I got the Oculus Quest 2.
Jesus.
And yes, but you know what, though? I'm not made of money over here, okay? I've been saving since like 2017, okay? I'm not doing bad, but like when I found out that they were talking about next gen, that's when you start squirreling away money, kids, okay? You start putting $20 here, $50 there, $20 here, $50 there. Next thing you know, you got $3,000.
It adds up, yeah.
3 years later, and guess what? Blew more than that in like less than 3 weeks, but that's what you saved up for. So you know what? You do it like that. You be smart. What do you think happened when I went to Disney World earlier this year before COVID? By the way, riding the sharp side of a knife there. I got back into Canada just before COVID hit. Okay, I was saving up for Disney World when my wife was 5 months pregnant. Okay, my daughter wasn't even born yet, and then we went 5 years after that. Anyways, the point is, I got the 5 console. Okay. And the reason why my wife wants a Series X, she's got it. The kids want a Series S, they got it. I got a Series X, I got it. And what am I doing with those? I'm playing those third-party games. Yes, Sony is punching above their weight right now. There's no question. Okay. But eventually they're going to get tired. You know what I mean? Because all of a sudden, you know what's going to, they're both running. One of them is going to start chugging along. The other one's going to start moving ahead. And my personal feeling is that on that front, just because of the hardware, the Series X is eventually going to pull ahead a little bit. Okay, unless PlayStation comes up with a Pro or something.
Can I tell you something? I said that same thing in 2014, and Sony hasn't stopped punching. Number 2, Sony's only meal ticket is the console and games, where Microsoft makes money in various different areas. So
100%
if they stop
agree.
Punching, they starve. And
yeah,
that's
no, absolutely. So I'm talking about the hard. Yeah.
But even from a hardware standpoint, you got to understand, at this point in time, we're sitting here with 4K TVs. Everyone's got them in their house now. They're a dime a dozen, right? You get a 4K TV right now for about $280. My point being is that like that's the common everyday casual gamer they don't go ask anybody. If first of all, you see a lot of stuff on Twitter and everybody gets a little bit more their idea gets a little mixed. Everyone thinks that everybody has a 2.1 HDMI. That is such a small group of people right now. It's not even hysterical, right? So now you take that into another level and you say, okay, 4K. Ask anybody who's buying Call of Duty, NBA, Madden, the games that are just Assassin's Creed Valhalla every year. They don't ask them, say, can you tell me right now on your 4K TV, what are you experiencing your game in? They're going to go, well, 4K, dude. You just said it's a 4K TV. Oh, no. It's dynamic 4K. They're going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. It's a 4K TV. My point being is nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I think it's, I don't know about cares, but it's like they don't know better. Right?
They don't know, right? They don't know. They don't know. And if you don't, ignorance is bliss. So my point being is, right? So that's my point. So we got to, that's the thing. You got to understand something, Meg. I respect where you're coming from. I really do. You know why? Because you really do sound like me in 2014. The problem is that Sony doesn't stop throwing punches because it's their livelihood. Yeah, it's like, okay, let's use the Balboa reference here. When Balboa got too rich, right? I love it, right? Rocky, never get enough Rocky, right?
My son's name is Rocky.
The minute Balboa literally got too full and this and that, what happened? He lost to Mr. T, and he lost his money. Then when he went back to the streets and he was, this and that, that's when he got his edge back. The thing is Sony's always on that street. They sold off everything. This is their predominant meal ticket. Yeah. So the thing is Sony will fold if there's no PlayStation. PlayStation needs to thrive. Microsoft has they're Annie, and they've got Daddy Warbucks constantly sending them cash. Right. So if Annie wants to stop singing "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow," guess what? She's still going to wake up in a $55 million house. Okay. So my thing is, that's the thing you guys got to understand here. The other thing is Microsoft is moving towards services. So the games and this and that, all things that they're going to buy. That's why when Phil said, "What are you going to do?" They're like, Phil, what are you going to do when these guys acquire ZeniMax and you have Bethesda? We're going to let Bethesda. You know what he said? We're going to let Bethesda be Bethesda. We're not going to tell them shit. Because all we need them to do is do what they're doing and fill up Game Pass. They only care about Game Pass being full. That's the thing. It's not about the ingenuity anymore. They're lacking that. And that's the problem. And if you don't believe me, just look over right now. All of us have a Series X in our home. Go ahead and look at the rectangle. You know, I mean, like you could say that one looks like a vagina. That's fine. My point is this: that's a rectangle. Like literally, it's a box. Like
It's
I
a
don't know about
fucking
you guys,
box.
but you don't
No,
need
100%.
you don't need 6 years of engineering to build a rectangle.
Yeah,
but
but
you know, and don't tell me heat rises. They didn't just find out heat rises yesterday. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, Mooch, they did it because heat rises.
Yeah, but
Thanks. Wheels roll.
Did you see the difference though in the teardown of the Series X compared to the PS5? Like the Series X is built way better on the inside. The way they've compacted and the way they've done it, it's just it's so much more simplistic.
Nobody cares. Like, who the hell is fighting? Right now, there's people fighting in Walmart to get a PS5. They're not like, well, give me the one that's better and compact. I'm not going to fight this person.
But why is
Nobody
that? Because
cares.
PS5 doesn't have the console production that the fucking Xbox has at this moment. PS5, their console production, they're not outputting as many as the Xbox is. It just is what it is.
I think they're both putting out whatever they can possibly put out. I don't necessarily think that one is outdoing the other in production. I think supply and demand. I think the supply is way more than the demand in both camps.
Thanks, Scalper, for those 3,000 stuff that you're holding in various places. Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know. That's my take. I don't get me wrong, Mag. The reason I chimed in is only because I genuinely I know where you're coming from. I really truly do. I literally sat in that seat and preached that for so many years. And you know what's funny? We're still waiting.
Well, let me jump in on that.
Waiting.
Let me jump in on that. You guys have said your two pieces. So I'm going to kind of jump on that and say, you know, we don't got to look too much farther than the kind of the way even Twitter works, right? Let's just blow up Twitter and say that this is the way the rest of the world works, because I'm pretty sure you can do that. You know, we could take our small sample size of Twitter, and you can easily see that on social media, PlayStation has a much more, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways you could say this. A lot of they have more vocal, they have more hardcore. There's a lot of things like that you could say about it, right? So until that changes, like I don't see how we could possibly see Xbox selling more consoles or anything like that. Especially since Xbox is moving towards a more service-based thing, like Mooch said, and that's true. Yeah. So they're not too worried about how many consoles they sell, because they're making all that money off every PC out there in the world, right? Mooch has a PC. I got a PC. We're all doing this goddamn podcast on goddamn PCs. So you know, they just have different game plans at this point. So as far if you're talking about winning the console sold war or something, that's I think that's got to go to PlayStation naturally.
That's in the past.
It's in the past. It's not about the console.
At a crossroads.
Well, whatever.
On separate ways.
Right. The game's mind share, and the game's mind share also goes to Sony. It just does.
For now, I can say that. Yeah, I know. I can understand it.
I don't know.
I can understand that for now. Yeah, but
AAA is about a Sony.
Like early on the podcast, we mentioned Game Pass, and you know what the scary part is, and this is weird to say, is because I think we have yet to see the best out of Game Pass yet, and that's a crazy statement, but I full-heartedly believe that we have yet to see the best out of Game Pass, and you know why? Is because we have yet to see the console exclusives that are going to be put in Game Pass, right? All these, you know, people hate to say, you know, people have said it over and over. You got to wait till next year. Got to wait till next E3. But these things take time, right? Phil Spencer take over. He took over, and he can't change. You know, he can't do a 180 in a year.
I mean, he could, but he didn't.
No, you literally can't. You can't.
I know. I'm giving you shit.
Well, I'm just talking like literally, right? Like Sony's got this such huge lead, and they got the mind share and everything. But Microsoft is doing their best and slowly changing that.
Well,
I think they're doing their best, Titan. I don't think they're
too much about this because
their best.
One of our next topics is going to be about performance. Okay.
It's really hard to change the mindset of someone that's people minds. It's really
guys, hold your thoughts, because our next topic is basically about performance of
Same
these
thing.
guys. So you're almost getting into that one already.
All right. Well, let me
well,
finish
let
this
me-
one.
And we do have some
finish too.
super chats from $2 from Emmanuel. I will not read the comment. I do appreciate you guys donating, but please, when it comes to panel members or guests, whether you like them or not, or you like me or you hate me, I would prefer that you guys just kept some of those comments to yourself, please and thank you. Kim Genie Prime says, "Amen." Emmanuel, obviously referring to his other comment. Now, guys, again, I appreciate the super chats, I really do, but and moderators, guys,
the
get
thing
on
is,
top of it too.
And I appreciate you doing what you're doing because I do the same thing on my channel. But I tell you that's the problem. Is you got to be able to be, whether you're coming to the show as a panel member or you're coming to the show as a chat in the chat. You're here for a talk show,
right? Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, I want to hear Mag's finish. I want to hear Mag finish.
Yeah, he's
because
going to finish.
I'm interested in his opinion. But that's the thing. Like, it's fun to have, and maybe I bring a little crossfire to it because I think like doing the round table, sometimes if you have a point, you should say your point. Otherwise, you lose a little bit of momentum. But the thing about it is that you're going to come to a chat and you're just going to be one narrow-minded. This is it. That's no way to be in any topic. That's no way to be in any subject at all.
No, but nobody needs to get sort of insulted.
No, absolutely. I'm not even
opinions and
referring to that.
perspective, right? You know what I mean?
I've been doing this too long. I don't even care about that.
And
stuff.
moving into our next topic, I feel like it's.
I'm just trying to say everyone should be a little bit more open-minded and hear what everyone has to say. Because Titan made some good points. Mag made good points.
Yes.
And I thank you. I appreciate that, lady.
And a lot of it is about that gray area that you can find, like points of common ground, right? Like if I have a different opinion than you do, where can we meet that common ground and where can we agree upon? I think that's what we need to all move ahead as a society,
Yes.
as a world, as humanity,
And I would go into this saying that we as gamers are coming on a precipice of an amazing fucking time. Like it's great where we are as gamers. We have so much at our fingertips. We have options. We have availability that we didn't have 10 years ago. And it's been fantastic. And it's a fucking great time to be a gamer. And we can have our opinions. And at the end of the day, we should all respect everybody else's opinions. So
yeah, no, I appreciate it. I just hope you understand my perspective, what I'm saying here, because no matter who I don't want the echo chamber either. That's not good for any podcast because, you gotta say how you feel, whether it's right or wrong. Everything in this industry is largely depending on your perspective. Okay, for example, I got my issues with Game Pass, and I take a lot of heat for it constantly for my issues. And I can tell you my issue, and I don't think they're necessarily wrong, but I know lots of people that love Game Pass, and that's fine. Does it make me wrong or right? No. You know what? At the end of the day, it makes me the idiot that spends $80 a fucking game instead of 13 or 14 bucks that I could spend every month. You know what? And I've said it. I'm an idiot for it, but I'll happily be that idiot because I like to buy my fucking shit. I don't like rentals. I don't like streaming shit. That's why I still I've been asking Disney, are you going to put Mandalorian on disc? Because I don't want to give these guys $10 a fucking month to watch one damn TV show. Give it to me on disc in the best quality. I don't rent shit. Okay, that's me.
DuckTales, damn it.
But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Let's get back to Mag. He didn't finish his thing on the topic. Go ahead, Mag. Sorry, brother.
I'm still here. I just let everybody I let the dogs off the leash and I'd be like, yeah, they'll come to the door in a few minutes. So anyways, yes, I got the 5. Okay. And the reason why, first of all, everybody in the family, we are primarily Xbox players. But myself personally, I am a PS on top of my Xbox. Obviously, I'm the PS5 player in the house, which is funny enough because whenever I play a PS5 game, my wife comes down with a bowl of popcorn and a drink, and she sits there and watches me play. This has been going on since even before we were married, from like Uncharted 1, and just sit there and watch me play because whatever. We all know the reasons why. But anyways, the point is the reason why I bought all those things is because I want to experience everything. Okay. And now I would say 99.9% of all my online interactions are on the Xbox. All the multiplats I buy on Xbox. And then PlayStation 5 is all exclusives. And I got to say, at least for this launch, and PlayStation absolutely destroyed Xbox in terms of exclusives. So, I mean, if you look at it, okay, the High Busters came out. That's great. I got that. I got the multiplats. I got Cyberpunk. I got Call of Duty. I got what's it called? Assassin's Creed Valhalla and all that stuff. That's all on the Xbox. On the PlayStation side of things, I bought Miles Morales. What else did I get? Oh, I also I went to revisit God of War because I'm still gunning for that bloody platinum trophy, those Valkyries. Anyways, all of that. And then what else am I doing? I'm also waiting till Boxing Day because I want to get Sackboy because I'm hearing it's really good. I hear it's a lot of fun. And that fucking name, every single time it gets me.
Yes, gets me to get a laugh.
Oh my God, every time. So I want to wait till Boxing Day to get Sackboy. And the other one, and because Ash and Luca had promised me, and I didn't forget about it, Luca, if you ever hear this podcast, okay? Ash and Luca promised me that she was going to play through Dark Souls with me. I am a 100% Dark Souls virgin, never done it before. I'm excited to do it. As for what I'm doing, though, I would say I'm going about 70-30 Sony to play to Xbox. I'm playing about 30% Xbox, 70% Sony right now. Once I'm finished those Sony games, it's obviously going to flip back to Xbox. But the point is, the reason why I buy all these things, the reason why I save all this money, the reason why I blow all this money is because I want to experience everything. Maybe not everything. I can't get to everything. Let's get serious. But I want to experience as much as I can and have an absolutely well-rounded experience. I don't want to be, and I'm not talking smack about people who have financial issues and stuff like that. No, it can only afford one. But there are people out there who will just buy one and then be bitter about the other one. I don't think that that's fair to either company. I don't think that's fair to Xbox. I don't think that's fair to PlayStation. So I like to have both. I like to be objective. I like to enjoy both. If something sucks on Sony, I'll say so. I hate Sony as a company, by the way, but I love their PlayStation. If something sucks on Xbox, I'll do the same thing to Microsoft. And, if you listen to any of Boom shows, and when I go off sometimes, I go off on Microsoft when they really, really screw up. From July to September, I don't think the decibels of my voice went anything less than 1,000, right? So, but anyways, the point is, I like to have a well-rounded experience. I plan for it, okay, well ahead of time financially to make sure I could do that. I even have the Oculus Quest 2 because I enjoy VR. So anyways, that's the point. I buy everything because I like to try everything.
All right. Great stuff. Who didn't answer this? Obviously, Lady and Titan. Did you have a chance? Titan,
real quick,
you want the Series X, right?
Yeah, I just got the Series X because to me, it's like I want the best of the best. Like we all love owning the top of the line product, no matter what product you're talking about. Lady, you love wine, right? So I'm sure you would love. Yeah, I'm sure you would love to have a top of the line wine right in your hand right now.
Tonight I'm drinking a 16-year-old Shiraz. Normally I drink it from the box, but tonight I am splurging.
Well, me and my wife usually like to have a wine called Lambrusco, and we love the taste of it, but that's nowhere near the top of the line, right? I mean,
that's really bad. It tastes like grape juice.
That's right. I love Lambrusco. But so I mean, whatever you can fit into your personal preference, right there. Like with as far as like taste to price, I guess. So I guess taste to price goes with the price to performance ratio as well. So to me, it's all I just love the Xbox. I love the ecosystem. I love everything about it. I love Game Pass. Game Pass has literally saved me over $1,000. I did this thing on Twitter the other day, and I messaged somebody. I said, Xbox could literally leave Game Pass alone, and it would take them 66 months of adding nothing to Game Pass for it not to be worth it to me. Think about that for a second, and next person, go ahead.
All right, Lady, floor is yours. What did you buy? Did you get one or both or none?
I also love fucking Xbox. It is something that I am more comfortable on. I love the interface. Everything about Xbox speaks to me more than PlayStation for the most part. I have fucking man hands, and the PlayStation controller has never agreed with me. So that's a big one for me. I went for the Xbox Series X. I had it pre-ordered. I also had the PlayStation 5 pre-ordered. Right. I had a fucking stockpile of money, and finances fucked me in the past few years. I am a mom of many, many children. I know, hard to believe, but I have birthed many of children.
How many you got?
She's like, I lost count.
Many. Saying,
you got more kids than fingers?
I get drunk, and I'm like, let's just do it. But yeah, I've had some financial setbacks with this COVID shit this year, and so I did not get a new console until just recently, and the only thing I can get was a Series S, but I'm excited. It's going to come any day now, and that's where I'm at. I'm going to pick up my PlayStation 5 within the next few months, hopefully when everything is in stock and whatever, and I'll get the X as well. But yeah, you know, I generally go towards Xbox. That's where my home is. That's where I am. If I'm gonna go main story RPG, like I just want to hang out by myself, I'm buying a fucking Nintendo. I'm not buying PlayStation. That's just me. But there are games that I've missed out on PlayStation. Like this past year, at the beginning of the year, my sister was like, "Hey, I am in need of something to keep my mind off of things. Do you think I can have one of your Xbox consoles? Because I have 3." And I was like, "No, but you can have my PlayStation 4 because I'm not fucking using it." And then Ghost came out and Tulu came out and all these things came out. And I was like, fuck, I really wish I hadn't given that away. But it is what it is. But for the most part, I wasn't using it. The last game I played on it was fucking God of War. That was it. Like, that's what I fired it up for. So yeah, Xbox is just my home. That's where I am. That's my life. I love it. I love the interface. I love my controller, and that's where I'm comfortable.
I love how you summed it up. Now, as for me, I will definitely get a PlayStation 5 eventually. I definitely have it on my must-buy list, but I'm not going to pay a scalper to get it, and I'm not going to sit there day in and day out like I have no life looking at the internet, hoping that I can get that fraction of a second faster to get this thing secured. I'm just not into that. I was lucky to get my Series X. To be honest with you, I didn't even intend to buy either next-gen console this year. I was even going to hold out on the X. But when the pre-orders came up, I said, fuck it, I'm just going to try to see if I can secure one. If I didn't, I wasn't going to cry over it. But yeah, I went ahead. I got it. Snagged one from Best Buy. All that. But I'm like you, lady. The thing is, for me, Xbox is more than just the sum of its parts or its games. For me, Xbox is my family. Xbox is where I have invested. I have thousands of dollars. This is the difference between old school consoles like of the 16-bit era and the 32-bit era. The internet has changed how we play games. We're always connected online. We have profiles. We have things attached to those profiles. And if you get rid of them and you never decide to play a game again, can you imagine how many thousands of dollars you've literally thrown down the drain, especially if you happen to be a digital connoisseur, because you can't get nothing back for it, right? What are you going to do? Sell your account, give someone your password and let them play on your shit? Maybe that's it, because you can't sell the stuff. You know what I mean? And that's another reason why I guess I still go physical, because as Mooch knows, I'm a master of newfonomics. I buy it, I sell it, I get it back again, and I can't even tell you how many times I've owned a PlayStation 4 this generation. It's absolutely insane.
Don't ask Noof to invest your money, please. Don't.
Somebody bought me my PlayStation 4 because I'm a mooch.
So. But the thing is, too, for me, it's about the. It's about for me, and I know it sounds cliche, like because Halo, Gears, and Forza, but those literally are my favorite franchises. Like, the best racer to me is still Forza. Like, it stands on its own. I'm a huge Halo fan. I've been since the original, and I continue to be, and I have high hopes that Halo Infinite will turn out good. I mean, I'm confident in the game will be good regardless of the graphic side of things. We were all disappointed with the presentation. It just didn't look like it was up to stuff, especially when you're trying to launch it alongside, quote unquote, their world's most powerful console, but it looks like a game that was basically fucking done on the 360. You're kind of like, something don't add up here. I think it was that kind of disappointment, but I'm sure the game will be fine. They say it's basically done. So now they're just going to spend the next year really putting some polish on it. And if those multiplayer pictures we saw recently are any indication, I'd say they're heading in the right damn direction. It's starting to look fucking fire to me, but that's just my opinion. But again, it's my friends list. I've got several hundred friends, and I've tried and tried and tried again on PlayStation, and I don't know why. I've even tried community game nights with PlayStation. Maybe it's because I don't hold a PlayStation-centric podcast, but I can't find fucking people to play games with on that damn thing.
I'm one of the biggest Destiny X or like PlayStation clans. Like, I'm in a clan. I don't know if anybody knows who it is, but I'm in Resolute. It is a PlayStation like eccentric clan, and like somehow they accepted me into their own, and I'm like, I don't play on your console, but I'm here. It is what it is. I get it, because I'm like, how do I get into party chat? How do I do this? What am I doing? Like, it's hard. It's hard for me.
And blasting out a super chat is the one, the only Audible Fart 507. He drops $10 into super chat and says, hopefully you guys have a good Christmas and let's hope for a better year. Well, man, it can't get much worse, so we're positive on that. And Merry Christmas to you as well, Audible Fart. And thanks for the support this year. Thanks for the super chat. And to everybody that's dropped a super chat tonight. I know, between him and Dr. Dinglenut, they get the award for the funniest names in the chat, I think, so far this year. It's fantastic. But yeah. But anyway, I went with the Series X simply because of that. But I'm Mooch. I'm in the same boat there. I don't remember. I mean, outside of Gears Tactics, and to me, I don't know. I guess it should count, but it doesn't count for me because I love Gears. Everybody knows I'm a Gears head, but I fucking have no interest in playing a tactical game. So to me, that was like, yeah, it's Gears Tactics, and it doesn't feel like it was Gears Tactics. We all know that wasn't really built for the Series X. They didn't start that going, this is going to be our showcase title. Let's not fool ourselves. So when was the last time any console really launched that didn't sort of have a marquee title? I can't even think of one. Nintendo always comes out with a Mario Zelda right out of the gate and then follows up within the next six to 10 months with something else. And Xbox just didn't have that one showcase title. Like right now, I have 2 games installed on my Series X, and like Mooch said, one of them's Gears 5. And guess what? I played shit out of it already, so I don't care if it does run at 60 frames and it looks better. It's still fucking Gears. Like I want a new experience. Spider-Man at least is a new experience, even though I know that people say it's just the hyped up DLC, blah, blah, blah. No, from what I've seen, it's an actual campaign. Yeah, it's the same city, but it looks a lot better. It plays better. It's a new experience. And then there's Demon's Souls. Yeah, it might be a remake of an old game, but the bottom line is it's still a new game. It's remade from the ground up, and it's kind of a showcase. If you've seen the graphics in that game, it looks pretty fucking phenomenal. So that's what I'm talking about. But I didn't see a lot of that up until Highbusters the other day. I didn't really see anything that was going, oh wow, but now this Highbusters came out and I'm like, holy shit. Now that's a nice showcase piece for the Series X, but it didn't come out at launch. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's where I am. I picked the Series X. I'm going to get PlayStation 5. I'm not disappointed with my X. I mean, it's going to be a great system. I think down the road it will be amazing, but for now it kind of is what it is, right? We got a super chat coming in from Axel. Drops $5. Today's show was great. Merry Christmas to all the gamers on the panel and in the chat. Well, same to you, Axel. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for that. So, all right, we're gonna do one more topic. Then we're gonna get Tony Baloney on stage. We're basically gonna have 2 more topics. We'll try to get out of here. I'm actually not going to do all 12 tonight. So, here's what's coming up on the docket. So our next one might be probably our longest topic outside of what we had. It's going to be how would we rate the 2020 performance of Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo? Try to break it down as quickly as you can, from a games console standpoint and sort of their perception in the marketplace. Because each one, I think, delivered in some ways and dropped the ball in others if you look at them. So that's what I want to start with. Then we're going to do our most anticipated game of 2021. And finally, we're going to end off the show with our resolutions for 2021. So we'll start with this topic. When we're done this one, we're going to get Tony Baloney in here for his segment. So how would you rate the 2020 performance of Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo? What did they do right? What did they do wrong? Who wants to take the floor first?
I'll just go quick. Microsoft did a lot right, in my opinion. They're trying to change that mindset. They're trying to get back more of the mind share. They're offering you the best deal in gaming. You can never, you just can't. You got to put yourself in their shoes, right? They're a corporation. And they don't have to give you the best deal in gaming. They could have just kept doing what they were doing. They could have kept going. They could have kept with Don Matrick and his vision for the console. But they changed that. They said this isn't working. Let's change. In comes Phil Spencer. Whether you love him or you hate him, I personally love him. I think he's the best leader you could ever possibly have for a gaming. Like how can you have a leader of a gaming platform that isn't a gamer himself and that doesn't enjoy these things himself? So I think Xbox made a lot. I think they made a lot. How do I say it? They just made a lot of good moves this year. Mm-hmm. And with COVID times and all this stuff and piling up and the games and stuff and everything getting delayed, you got to really, it's hard because we got to take the good with the bad. We got to give them kudos for what they did do. And we got to be understanding when people drop the ball sometimes or don't live up to our expectations, because like I said, everyone needs to be more empathetic, and that's just being a better person and in general. We can all be more empathetic. We can all put each other. We can all put ourselves into other people's shoes. And if we all do that, we'll become better gamers. We'll become better people. We'll respect each other more. And you know, I guarantee a lot more will get done. There'll be a lot less bitching and moaning and fucking complaining about ridiculous shit, and people fucking just complaining about literally everything. And and I know, like, I see it on Twitter, like people are getting tired of people just bitching and bitching and bitching and bitching. But that's what gets the clicks. That's what it's weird. It's a weird two-handed blade, right? Like, that's what gets the clicks, and that's what you don't want to see. But then people go around and click the shit they don't want to see. I don't get it. Personally, I don't do that shit. You know. But personally, I just like to stay positive and look towards the future and look on the bright side of things. And I like where Xbox is going right now. Mm-hmm. So go ahead.
I'll take it. I'll take the stage here. Microsoft. No, actually, I'm going to start with Nintendo. Okay. Because Nintendo has done Nintendo the right way, the wrong way. I don't even know what they're fucking doing. They play this fucking line that is so hard to like pinpoint. You're just like, whatever you're doing, Nintendo, you're doing it, and people are falling for it. So keep it up. Nintendo came out with a game this year that took 3 games over 10 years old. Mm-hmm. Didn't optimize them, didn't do anything, and then sold it at full price, and everybody fucking jumped on it. Like, that is what Nintendo is fucking doing out there.
You're right.
That is Nintendo at this point, and they just don't even fucking care. I feel like Nintendo is just like looking at us like that meme where they're all like, whatever. We got this.
If they buy it, they buy it. Whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is. Whatever. Nintendo is just doing Nintendo. Microsoft has come at accessibility in a whole new way. They have jumped on crossplay, cross-gen, cloud gaming. They are doing so much that is bringing so many gamers to gaming cross-platform. You can play Microsoft on PC, you can play on your Xbox. They are doing huge things in that regards. PlayStation, focus on your exclusives. They are doing that, and they are doing it fucking right. Mm-hmm. Because there are games that I didn't play on we're going into the games I didn't get to play. Every single game I didn't get to play this last generation has been on PlayStation that I want to play. Mm-hmm. They are doing the exclusives, and they are doing it right. And that's where they are. They also came out with this generation with a controller. And I know that sounds like such a weird thing to focus on, but they did that. And I'm just like, oh, I kind of want to fucking touch that controller. Like, I want to play with it in a way. They did that. Things that PlayStation didn't do right, in my mind, was that whole pre-order debacle.
Right.
That was a fucking mess. PR, like all of that, like that wasn't great. I feel like PlayStation has not focused on their community, the people who are under them. They're doing things right, but they are not focusing on the people who are focusing on them. And I feel like that's where PlayStation has to improve. Microsoft, yeah, like I said, accessibility, but I think both consoles, Microsoft and PlayStation should have held off. That was their biggest thing this year. I feel like our consoles could have waited a little bit. Right. Personally, I would have been okay with waiting a little bit for actual next-gen games. So, yeah, that's me. I'm trying to, spill it out so we can move on to the next topic. But, take it away. Next person.
All right, it's up to Mooch or Meg. They can flip a coin for this one.
I'll let Meg go.
All right. The way I looked at ththings this year is that, I mean, I know it was December of 2019, but starting from that moment and on, Microsoft, when Phil came out on stage at the Game Awards, that's when things really started to cook for them. And they were doing everything in the right direction. Everything was just going along. There were good announcements. It was steady announcements. There was a lot of transparency when it came to the hardware, what was going on. This is what's happening. This is what we're doing. This is how we're moving Game Pass forward. While they eventually released the specs and all that kind of stuff, but I thought they were all moving in a positive direction. Then there was the Halo Infinite situation. It was definitely, they definitely tripped on that hurdle. And, they started to stumble a little bit, but then they kind of came back strong again because then September rolls around and what happens? They bought up half of the bloody gaming world with ZeniMax and all that stuff. So, they started, all of a sudden, they started steamrolling again, right? So everything is going fine. So they're doing all right. But then the launch of the console happens. No real issues, really. I mean, they gave you the proper times. They said, this is when it's launching. This is when it's happening. The pre-orders anyway. And all that stuff. They kind of jumped in. They kind of, poked at Sony a bit because Sony's absolute nightmare of a pre-order situation. And so they were doing fine. The only thing that now that the consoles are out in the wild, a year later, of all the PR work and all the press and everything else, what happens is now you got to put your money where, you got to put your money where your mouth is. Okay. And now you're looking at the consoles and now you're seeing that as of the moment, okay, let's not get all excited again. Okay, at the moment, Xbox is not showing a whole lot. They didn't bring a whole lot to the table other than an amazing piece of hardware. Okay, and and then what I saw is that PlayStation, they were stumbling a whole lot with their PR working up. You remember all the bullshit and the misdirection and oh no, with the power of the PS5, and we only believe in generations. Oh, and by the way, they're coming to PS4. But anyways, right, and like all that kind of stuff. So there was a lot of PR nightmare on the PlayStation side. Then there was the pre-order nightmare. That was a set of bullshit. People were pissed off, all that kind of stuff, whatever. Then that's when they released that tweet, like an hour after they had the PS5 premiere, that the games were actually going to be coming on the PS4 and stuff. People were pissed off, whatever. But then when the console finally got out in the wild, guess what? Sony brought more to the table. And they brought how many exclusives did they bring out? Like 4 big time titles there. You got the Demon Souls, which got, highly rated, looks incredible. Haven't got it yet. They got Sackboy. They've got Miles Morales. You could say it's a PS4 DLC. I did. I knew exactly what that was. That was a PS4 DLC. And you know what? They smartly, I'm not even joking about it though. I'm not even poking fun at it. They did something really smart. You know what Sony said? They said, hang on to it. Hang on to it. We're going to polish it up and we're going to make it a PS5 launch title. That's not sneaky. That's fucking smart. Okay, that's what they did. They did the right thing. And so what happened in the end? Now they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Sony exclusive games at launch, right? And then Microsoft launched with Gears Tactics because of the Halo thing. Yes, I'm understanding of the situation. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying that's how the cards fell on the table. That's what happened. I'm not leaning one way or the other. I'm just saying these are the facts. Right. Whether you like them or not, this is how it worked out. So in the end, with Microsoft having great press all the way up until this moment, when they ended up launching, they launched pretty skimpy. When PlayStation were tripping over their own goddamn feet, and Jim Ryan, they should have put a sock in his mouth and just kept him quiet from like March till like October. And he's just like, tripping over his own goddamn words. They should have just kept him quiet. But guess what? When they finally released it, when it finally came down to unzipping their pants, we saw where the bigger package was, and all of a sudden, and now everybody wants that PS5. This is what's happening. And that's what's happening for now. And I'm not saying this is the future. I'm not saying this is the generation. I'm not saying this is 2021. This is what I saw for 2020. And I mean, this is just an observation, but I mean, anybody prove me wrong, I don't think you can. I'm sorry. That's just the way I see it. As for Nintendo, fuck Nintendo. I hate Nintendo.
Oh my God. My Lord. How do you Nintendo? It's a
you know what? I'm just kidding around. But you know what? I was interested in Super Paper Mario or something. I saw it. I'm like, ooh, this looks good. So I went on YouTube to check out a little video of the gameplay. And then I'm looking at and all of a sudden
it would be too hard for you. I don't think you should play it.
Oh my God, I love it. Yes, no, but and all of a sudden I saw the characters and they're going, and then the other one comes in and goes, I'm going, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. They don't speak English over there.
This is not 1985. Okay, it's not a Commodore 64. Can't they use
a book? My Lord.
It's like that Xbox game. What the hell is that one with the fucking bear and his parrot? Whatever, Banjo Kazooie or whatever.
That's 2020.
It's 2020. The bear can't talk. Oh, he's still going. And the parrot comes in. And I'm like, get this fucking shit up right now.
Here's the thing, Mac. I just want to know, when you're playing a fucking video game, do you turn on subtitles?
No.
Oh, see, that's the very first thing I do. I go into my fucking thing, I turn on subtitles, and maybe that's because I am a Nintendo gamer at heart, but I cannot play a video game without subtitles. It's absolutely impossible.
Damn, I might be missing out a lot by not turning on these subtitles. Shit. They're actually saying shit?
What is the bear saying? What could he possibly be saying that's so important?
He says, put your dick in my ass while you're riding.
Can you imagine if that's what actually they were saying and they just jumbled those words up? That'd be fantastic. Then I play more Nintendo. But anyways, I don't play Nintendo because I don't like it's been. I'm trying to get my kids are always talking about the Nintendo. Meanwhile, they're gaming on a 70-inch TV. Poor them, right? But at the same time, they're like, I want a Nintendo Switch. I'm looking at Mario Galaxy came out 3 years ago. It's still $80.
It's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you leave it in a Nintendo to be able to get away with that shit, and nobody's even batting an eye. Like, we're gonna buy it. Wow.
People Lady will have a conversation tomorrow.
And that was my before the serious part of my 2020. Sorry, Nintendo all of a sudden struck a nerve all of a sudden. So, anyways, that was my shot for 2020. Wow. I'm gonna end it there.
Dude, that was fun. I'm in tears over here because it actually sounded just like fucking banjo or whatever for a second. It was hilarious.
I can't do it, Noof. I'm 45. I can't do the wordy stuff. Just give me words.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you.
You know, when Kratos going to talk to his son, he goes, boy.
Just learn how to speak Nintendo, Mag. Just get good and learn how to speak in fucking
I'm curious to see what the Mooch is going to say and how he would sum up the performance of all three companies. Mooch, the floor is yours, brother.
Yeah, I think everyone pretty much nailed it. So there's no sense in going over it over and over. I think Mag did a good job. I agree with Lady, Titan as well. I myself personally, I think that when it comes down to it, looking at Sony, right? So everyone says Sony didn't do a good job with their PR, and I agree with that. They didn't. I don't. But I mean, when you're sitting there, I can't really say that's a negative because Microsoft has done the same thing. I mean, Phil's come out and said. Clearly, there's an article out where he said, clearly single player games just don't hold the weight they do anymore.
Oh my god, that was 4 years ago. Can we
Well, it doesn't matter. 4 years ago, it doesn't. If someone doesn't say it 4 years ago, it's not a lie today. It's still not true. So the point of the matter is, Jim Ryan just took over this year. So it is what it is. These guys, I don't believe any of these guys at the top. Because let's be honest, whether it's Jim Ryan or Phil Spencer, they're still not necessarily the say all end all. Phil is literally just dictating what comes from Satya Nadella. Satya Nadella said, everyone's like, Phil saved Xbox. Satya Nadella said to Phil, if you want Xbox to remain with us, okay, because there was a lot of talk with Bill Gates and everything else before Satya took over, saying they were going to sell it off. You guys remember that? We talked about it for years. Okay, the reason that Xbox is saved isn't just Phil. Literally, the one thing Phil did do was he took it to and said, here's how we're going to save Xbox. We're going to utilize Microsoft's strengths, and that's their services. And that's why you see the change in direction. It's a very simple thing. It's not like Phil was like, you know what we'll do? We'll use Azure. And Satya Nadella was like, Yahtzee. No, I mean, that's not how it went down, right? Literally, he was like, you're going to use Azure or I'm selling this shit to Amazon. You know what I mean? That's how it kind of went down. And that's the thing. So Phil did say, hey, we can do that. We can utilize our systems. We can make Microsoft's strengths be able to handle what Xbox can do. So I think that's where you have to give Phil credit. As far as what Microsoft did right and wrong, I think like Titan said, they went out and they acquired these studios. That's the right thing to do. They're going to go ahead and Game Pass is the future of Xbox. Okay. Not being like, oh, I can't wait for Fable or I can't wait for that. Those days are yet to be determined if they still have that heart and soul. Right now, their heart and soul is in xCloud and it's in Game Pass. So did they do the right thing? They did the absolute right thing. They went and bought studios. They've got to keep Game Pass constant. Whether you like the movies or the TV shows or things that are on Netflix, Netflix keeps pumping stuff in there. Some are winners, some are absolute losers, right? And that's the thing. Phil's words, we're going to be the Netflix of gaming. So that's what they're going to do. And that's the way it is. So I think the perk is there and say the benefit is that he did what he said he was going to do. They're going to keep Game Pass alive and well. That's the good thing. The minus is this, is that I've been saying this for well over 2 years, so this isn't anything new. I said Xbox is, I think, in desperate need of new leadership because you have a console. You have a console. I know, Titan. I know. Don't burn your Phil Spencer shirt yet.
I don't get it.
No, it's all right. I hear you. That's fine. Nobody has to agree with me, but you have a Series X that came out this year, and as Mag said, and everyone said that's the thing. Everybody says it. What I'm saying, but then when I say it with context, they're like, "Boo, that man." Okay, so, right, you guys. I'm just regurgitating the same thing you guys said, but I'm saying it with a but. This is the reason. So Phil is in charge, right? Then he has Matt Booty, and then you have Bonnie Ross, right?
Yeah.
They put all their eggs into the Halo basket, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But then Halo doesn't come out, and it's delayed, and they've been working on this thing since 2015. And
So they're gonna talk about Fable. Let's be real. I'm sorry.
no, I didn't hear what you said, lady. What did you say about Fable?
I was just saying. So they're just gonna start talking about Fable because that's what happened. They're like,
What?
"Fuck Halo."
Yeah, fuck
Look
Halo.
at
Let's go to
Fable.
Fable.
Take this 10-second fucking preview.
So what it is like they're literally what the problem is that if let's change the scenario to this panel. It's a really good example here. So you have Titan, I have Mag, I've got Lady, I've got Noof. Now I say, listen, Titan, I need you to be my main guy. You have to.
I'm your guy. I'm your main guy.
You're my guy. You're my guy.
I'm your man.
You need to make sure Halo comes out because I don't have anything
Oh,
else coming
shit.
out with our console, right? You're gonna do everything and then some to make sure this game comes out. My point is, Phil, Matt Booty, and Bonnie Ross were all like this in July 23rd. We're shipping it. This is the game. Now you have outcry in why is it the gamers have to tell them it's not ready? We're like, this doesn't look good. And then literally, right, the next day after the July 23rd show, people were saying it doesn't look good. This isn't right, blah, blah, blah. And what does 343 do? It looks fine. It's great. We're shipping it. It's going. We're ready. They're not ready. So what I'm saying is from the top all the way down, it's all discombobulated. They don't even know.
I feel
You
like
have
a more problem with 343. I think that's like because
that's
when
fine.
you create something,
fine.
let's say you create some like a video on YouTube, you're like man, this fucking video is amazing. I'm gonna put it out there. It's gonna get 1 million views, and it gets like 10 views, and you're like, oh fuck.
Well, I don't care about views. I've been doing one show a year for a week. That's all I ever do. My point is this. What I'm trying to say to you is this. I think that when it comes down to it, I'll agree with Titan said there. It may be a 343 problem. But if that's the only thing you're launching, remember, when you're the captain of a Navy ship, it doesn't matter if you're a captain of whatever. Phil's the captain of the ship. So even if 343 is engineering and they fucked up, it's Phil's fault. Okay? Phil didn't know what was going on. They didn't have the finger on the pulse. Matt Booty, who's supposed to be what Phil was before he became Don Matrick, he didn't know what was going on. There's nothing there. They're launching a console. Noof said it earlier. Again, I'm saying what you guys are saying. So even if you're not agreeing with me, I'm really just using your words. Again, I'm just putting it in a different context. Noof said, this is the first time I can remember a console launching without a game coming from the platform. And it doesn't matter how far back you go in your memory, back to the NES all the way till today, that's never happened. And that's an important thing here, is that you can see that they're so fixated on Game Pass and services that they've taken their foot off the gas on the games and watching what's going on internally. Just because we've got a lot of games.
All right, I hear
a different road.
I hear what you're saying right there, but then you gotta come back to the COVID situation, because even a fantastic developer like CD Projekt Red releases a game in which you really
Valhalla,
No, CD Projekt Red had 8 years.
Boy,
You can't
Spider
use that.
Man.
I'm just
Demon's
taking
Souls, everybody went through COVID, so the COVID
I'm
thing
just
doesn't work.
taking what CD Projekt Red has done in the past. They've released Witcher 3, fantastic game in the past, but now during COVID times, they release Cyberpunk on all these platforms.
I can't use COVID though. I can't, not when there's another 15 games.
But
that
it's
came out
there.
at the
It's
same
a factor. You can't just take that factor out. It's a factor in the equation.
I can't take it out, but I can definitely reduce it to lower than 5%. It's just not. It's not. So the
lower
thing
than
is,
5%.
and here's the thing, Titan. Titan, answer me this. Titan, answer me this. So fine. So there's a problem. It's COVID, right? You're blaming COVID. That's fine. So COVID is the reason 343 couldn't get it out. Why didn't Phil
I'm not even
or
talking
Matt?
about 343. I'm referring to, let's see, CD Projekt Red.
Okay, what about the other 15 games that released? They didn't have COVID?
there's sure, yeah, they all do, yeah, but
Okay,
you got to admit that like all of these
CD
games
Projekt Red has
not
more
up to
problems.
snuff.
Listen, we're going to be on this show for another 2 hours. CD Projekt Red CD Projekt Red has more problems than even what we're getting through here. They started this game in 2012, 2015. Through that era, they still couldn't get the game out. COVID has nothing to do with CD Projekt Red. That's a mess. That's a mess. So that's a different situation. I do think, like I said, Sony did some things that were wrong as well. I don't like their mess with what they did with their PR speak. I don't like how they said it's all about generations, and then they went ahead and they put it on both. But the thing is, at the end of the day, Miles Morales, for me, with ray tracing and 60 frames, I feel like that ray tracing and 60 frames with that game I couldn't get on my PS4. So if you want to go play that on PS4, go ahead. I'm still getting my next gen purchase quality upgrade. Right. Yeah. So I still got something, and it's a new title. So I'm okay with that, even though I don't agree and I don't like the way Sony messaged it. I also the other thing is that we talk about the pre-order debacle. So
Mhm.
where Sony's debacle was wrong was they said we're going to give you ample time. That was not true. They didn't give ample time. However, the big kerfuffle, as everyone's talking about, that's the big mistake, was actually Walmart's fault. Walmart actually launched the day before they were supposed to, and they got slapped on the wrist by Sony for that. Whatever that penalty was, we'll never find out until one of the heads of the two families decides to retire. So when you say it's their fault, Sony did not give enough time like Microsoft did. But here's the thing. Until just yesterday, when Target had an abundance of Xbox Series X's and S's, like both of them were equally hard to get. Whether you scrambled to go get your PS5 and got one, or you waited in line for the 3 that were available at your local
Was
store.
that on Xbox or was that on bots?
Both of them were bots.
Both, yeah.
Bots are on.
Both
Bots are,
yeah, no, both of them. I totally
bots
agree
are the
with
issue.
that.
You're right, lady. Bots are the issue for all of it. You're right.
Yeah.
That's the true culprit there. So it is what it is there. And I think Nintendo, just to kind of go full circle here, Nintendo definitely had their probably most lackluster games lineup. But to be honest with you, if any company deserves to put their feet up on the desk and take a year off, it's Nintendo. Even with the lackluster games that came out this year from them, they still managed to outsell Sony and Microsoft every single month. So,
you know what Nintendo did that I'm kind of like pissed off about, and I'm not sorry, don't want to take up more time, but they released the Animal Crossing limited edition console.
Yeah.
And like, this is what you're getting. Like, everybody's gonna get what they get, and then like 5 months later, like, here's more, and I'm like, so my fucking limited edition wasn't even that important. Like, that pissed me off. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say that. But yeah, Nintendo can fuck off sometimes.
But I mean, Nintendo's got something going that's something magical, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like Titan said it. I think it was maybe Mag. One of their games are still like they're like still $60, and they came out 4 years ago. It's like, dude, like
nothing holds their value more than a fucking Nintendo game. As an ex GameStop store manager, I'm sorry, everybody like tie me to the fucking stake. I understand the way that like trade-ins work for GameStop, but Nintendo games hold their fucking value, and it has nothing to do with anybody except the consumer and the way that Nintendo outputs their games. They put out so many games to make their games stand out, and they hold their own, and that's what happens.
Ladies, right? I literally returned. It's so funny. I traded in a game. Ladies, right? I think it was one of the Mario Brothers.
You probably got like a solid $40 fucking dollars.
I got $38, and it was a 3DS game. I was like, "Are you freaking crazy?" Because I couldn't believe I was buying a game, and I'm like, "I'm trading this in." I thought I was going to get like a bag of Funyuns and a coaster for it, and instead they were like, you know what I mean? I was like, what? They were like, "It's a brand new $60 game." I was walking out with. I think it was Horizon. I can't remember what the game was, and they're like, "Oh, you owe us like $16 and something." Because I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's $30." I'm like, "Wow."
Mooch, I want you to go to your next like midnight release for an Xbox game, a PlayStation game, whatever you're gonna do, and bring in a Nintendo game. That
they'll probably pay me with the game coming out. They're like, "Mooch, you forgot this $10
because what's gonna happen is Nintendo games release on a Friday, and when you're working in the game retail business, you get a box of games for Nintendo. Say it's Mario, Sonic, fucking Olympics. Like, that's what you're getting. You have 15 of those games in your store, and then you're getting Horizon Zero Dawn on the same day, and you have 5 fucking boxes. It's supply and demand, and Nintendo is doing it right, and that is where they are. They're like, these people can play through these games. They're going to get sick of them, and they're just going to keep coming for them. And I feel like consumers know that. So I just, That's
actually, I'm glad you kind of gave that perspective. I didn't know, but like in all honesty, that's the one thing I want to complain. I'd love to sit here and just complain about how it's $60. I mean, it's a fun thing to talk about, but like you said, if all of a sudden you're going to play this game, play it for 3 years, not even like a week, like 3 years, and then get $38 back. I mean, that's insane if you stop and think about it.
Fantastic. It's amazing because their output isn't the same output as every other fucking thing. That's just how Nintendo rolls. They're like, in Japan, probably different. You can probably find like 100 Mario Karts on every shelf, but here, maybe 4 in every GameStop, maybe used, maybe because everybody's holding on to their Mario Karts. They're holding on to their Mario parties. They're holding on to their Super Mario. They're holding on to these games with the replayability because that's what Nintendo does.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, Noof. Go.
No, everybody done, or I'll jump in. Well, like I said, hopefully, Joe, what's his name? Hopefully, Meg and Tony Baloney are on standby because once I'm done here, they're going to come in.
He's ready.
He's right. Okay, so I'm going to do my part. I guess everybody kind of giving their feelings on what. So here it is. So basically, let's take Microsoft for example. Okay, so hardware-wise, look, they're starting to get it right. They obviously learned a big mistake with the Xbox One, and they made up it ever since. I mean, they've had some amazing hardware right down from the S to the One X, now the Series X, and I have no issues about Microsoft and their competency in the hardware department. They learned a tough lesson. They spent the first half of this generation with the bullshit about 1080p versus 720, and they basically stuck the big middle finger up to Sony and said, you know what, we're going to change this narrative a little bit right here because we're going to have a better consoles than you guys. We're going to give you better value in the console than you guys. It's true because, hey, PlayStation owns Blu-ray and didn't even put a fucking 4K in the PS4 Pro. So they've been doing that better, in my personal opinion, and I think that's not just an opinion. I think that's actually a fact, okay? Now, as far as the new PlayStation controller, yeah, they went out and they did a little bit more with it. Kudos to them for kind of trying to take it and revitalize the controllers because it kind of been stagnant, but there's nothing wrong with the Xbox One either. Like I said, when you got perfection, you don't mess with it too much. That's kind of where they went. But anyway, the thing that's been holding Microsoft back is simply this, and that's games. They're not suffering from variety of games. They're doing that better than Sony. Nobody does variety better than games right now than Microsoft. I mean, they got Sea of Thieves, they got Forza, they got third-party shooter. I think Phil even admitted the only area right now, the only game platform that they're maybe struggling a little bit is in like platformers, like the Mario style games, right? I mean, we don't see Conquer, we haven't seen Banjo in years. They got so many IPs are sitting on that could be huge successes, but they haven't utilized them yet, and it doesn't look like Rare is willing to take to go back on them. I just hope Rare doesn't become I'm stuck to Sea of Thieves for the next fucking 40 years kind of bullshit. So I hope Rare is able to branch out and keep making great games. They have a unique style and art style. They have a lot of talent, but I don't think we've seen everything from those guys yet. So it comes down to games. And like I said, right now we got the powerful console. It's on paper. We got the studios. 23 once this deal goes through on paper. But where are the games? Like the bottom line is, if you're an Xbox fan, I don't care who you are, you have got to be tired of hearing it's coming, or wait till E3, or wait till this, or wait till that. Now, even Halo was supposed to come out, and we got to wait again. We're getting tired of waiting. It's time to shit or get off the pot. Give us some fucking games, which means Phil might have to grow a set of balls, too, and at some point walk into a studio and say, I want this shit to fucking come out in the next century, because Phil's been dealing with a lot of dick shit stuff, too. Quantum Break, how fucking long did Remedy dick Microsoft around with Quantum Break? How long did they get fucked around with Recore? How long? And then they bring out these games, and they're not even great. They don't even live up to expectations. They're either buggy or they're kind of ho-hum, and Xbox fans don't want them. And now we got Xbox fans that are going, well, I'll wait till Game Pass. If the game was that goddamn good, you never say that a couple of years ago. See, the thing is with me, I act like Game Pass doesn't exist. If I really want a game, I go and plunk my fucking money down on it. I want the game. There's no way in hell I would never buy a Gears day one. It's never wait for something. If I want it, I buy it. Nintendo does that right now. You want it, you buy it. They don't have that system set up, and nobody gives a shit. This is what I'm saying. Double standards all around. People make excuses for it, and I'm just tired of it. I get it. You're saving a ton of money, and there's nothing wrong with that. But stop forgetting who you were a couple of years ago just because, everybody bought games a couple years. Some people magically had money years before Game Pass, and they bought every damn game. What's going on now? All of a sudden, what? Everybody just went broke because I got Game Pass. No. I forget that it exists. You know what I'm saying? It's great. I'm not. Anyway, I'm getting on a tangent. I'm not here to fucking talk about it, but I do agree with Mooch. Their focus is fucking service. I'm even afraid that Halo is going to turn into the next fucking World of Warcraft. There's just going to be update. We'll never see a game that really comes out. You get like a fucking bona fide sequel. A sequel that blows the old one out of the water. Graphically, is built on a new engine. It offers a lot of new stuff because developers had 4 or 5 years to fucking make it special instead of just add a new fresh coat of paint. You can see that happening with Fortnite right now. Let me guess, Fortnite 2 will never exist. You know why? Because people are going to keep buying the shit for fucking Fortnite. So you'll never get an official sequel that really ups the bar, the ante. They do that with Grand Theft Auto already. Half the reason we haven't got Grand Theft Auto 6 because you motherfuckers keep buying Grand Theft Auto 5 shit. How many fucking years are you guys gonna buy shit for Grand Theft Auto 5? I mean, that's number 7 in the top MPD games last month. I'm like,
Fortnite's still in beta, Noof. It's never leaving.
Whose grandmother doesn't own fucking GTA? Jesus Christ, people! Like, come
Yeah,
on!
Fortnite hasn't even started,
When
right?
I see the top fucking 10 games every month, when I see the top games every month, I don't blame developers for wanting to say, you know what, fuck this industry, I'm getting out of it because creativity is stifled. You know why? Top 10 games. Look, FIFA, Madden, Call of Duty, Fortnite. Like, it's all the same bullshit every fucking time. And I'm going to go into Nintendo. I'm going to let Cletus take over the Nintendo thing. Sony, look, Sony is competent with hardware, not, you know, but they like I said, they double down on their messaging. They make you want their exclusives, right? It's all about their exclusive games. They push that word out every chance they get. Exclusive. They even go out and pull the devil. They're buying up all this exclusive content. Like, what's another game Square's bringing out now? It's like 2 years or something exclusivity. It's like, holy shit. You know, but that's, like I said, like Mooch, that's their bread and butter. Their bread and butter is games. It's not about selling you play. They might do that eventually. I think they will follow suit to some extent, but right now they want to sell consoles. Consoles sell games. Make games that people really want to play. Having Spider-Man was a huge get because, you know, my mic popped out there.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, Microsoft's got to bring the games. Sony could definitely use a little bit more variety in their portfolio. Like, they could use some multiplayer games that fucking their Sony fans want to play. Because I feel like when it comes to like Sony's games, it's all single player story, and they're great games. But
that's their bread and butter.
That's their bread and butter. But they could use, like, maybe eventually Guerrilla or somebody brings back like a new Killzone, or they bring back another franchise that we've heard about, you know, rumors about Insomniac possibly bringing back Resistance and having a bona fide great multiplayer game in there as well. So that's a possibility. And look, so that's where they're at right now. Right now, like I said, I think Sony's kind of in the driver's seat. They always like to take that wait and see approach, see what Microsoft's going to do. Microsoft will get there eventually. That's why I have a Series X, because I'm confident they will. I'm just getting tired of the wait. I think a lot of us are. And this was a crazy year too, an anomaly. There's no E3 this year, shows, studios. We're not trying to make too many excuses, but COVID really fucked everything up, for the better or for worse. It really made people's lives a miserable hell this year, including gaming. We're actually lucky we got as many games as we did, broken or not, you know, when you think about it. So kudos to them, and kudos for like keeping working and keeping patching and all that stuff. It's not ideal, but nobody would have predicted we'd still be here fucking Christmas time, and we're 6 feet away and wearing masks and all that other bullshit. You know what I mean? So let's get to Nintendo, and I'm going to let Cletus take this one over. Cletus, how do you feel about Nintendo?
Well, here, fiddly diddly, guys. Yeah, whole Nintendo. Yeah, sure, I got that Nintendo. I loves that thing. But let me tell you, I can't figure Nintendo out at all, right? Because like Mag was saying, like, these guys are the anomaly in the industry. Because I don't know how many times you could sell a game. This is 2020, and they still got games where guys go, goobity gobbity goo goo. It sounds like my cousin down the street. You know what I'm saying? You can't understand the damn word they're saying. You got to have subtitles for the subtitles. You know, it's all gibbity gobbity goo. They got games like that. And they're still using Mario, fucking Zelda, and all of them old games. You know what I'm saying? Like, graphically, they ain't all that great. You know what I mean? Like, the shit can almost run on a cell phone, that sort of stuff like that. Like, when they going to get innovative? You know, when they going to have some titties in their games or something like that? I mean, my God, Nintendo been using the same ass shit for years. It's like putting shit on top of shit and selling it in another shitty box, and people I'm going to buy that shit all over again. Because, like, there's one or two types of people that basically buys Nintendo, okay? It's usually families and stupid people that don't know the difference. Like, nobody gives a shit that half of the Nintendo games, they runs it like fucking, 620 fucking pixel squitch or whatever the fuck they is, I don't know, and their fucking frame rates is all over the place. Nobody fucking understands or gives a shit, because they're just playing on this little console, and they just happy they can have it in the palm of their hands. It's kind of like holding on to your dick, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just enjoy something in the palm of your hands one of these times. That's what and then you get to hook it up to the TV too, if you get tired of holding on to it with your hands. It's kind of good. It's like watching the porn today, right? So they get away with it. Like, Nintendo gets away with so many things that Microsoft or Sony, they can't do it at all. So, like, the other type of people that buys Nintendo, the nostalgia type. You know what I'm saying? It's like they think so back in the day, you know, when they had a hot piece of ash, you know, back in the day when she had about 5 teeth. You know, and now she's like in her 50s. She's all wrinkly like some of the pigs in the backyard, and she got no fucking teeth. And you're just like, yeah, you know, I put some dentures in your head. You remind me of the old days, and we get all do it again, right? So they got that kind of crowd. So I don't know what's going on with Nintendo. They get away with a lot of shit that nobody else gets away. Fuck, they got an online that you can't even fucking send a friend invite. You got to go to some kind of serial code from fucking outer space. You got to add all these numbers and shit. Like, what the fuck kind of system is that? I can't remember all that shit like 12 did. You got to add, like, my God, man, I can't even remember what 911 is most days, let alone this shit. Like, what the fuck sent you in, Nintendo? Like, and you're charging $20 a watt so I can fucking play Mario Kart. Well, I can race cardboard boxes around the backyard and have the pigs chase me. It's all good. But I don't know how he gets away with it. I don't understand. Nobody else gets away with it. I mean, I love my Nintendo. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with playing a little Mario, a little boink boink from time to time. Heck, I don't even mind the controller drift. Fuck, I play them side scrollers now, and I don't even have to press right on the controller. I just drift right along. I just press the A button, and my fucking dude just jump through the level. Right? That's what I'm doing. And yeah, so like, I don't know, man, but Nintendo's the anomaly, just making money hand over fist. I want some of what the fuck crack they're smoking, man. Like, seriously. Like, these guys, they're crazy, man. They're crazy. But anyway, I don't say any more than that. You either love Nintendo, you hate them, or somewhere in between. But yeah, we'll get on the Twitters. I'll talk to you there. But anyway, Nintendo, I don't know, man. You guys are pulling the rabbit at your ass every fucking year. I don't know how you does it, but kudos to you guys. And yeah, just keep the games coming. Now, just makes it, well, they do kind of make that mature stuff on there. You know, there's a stuff that comes over from Japan. There's these cute girls with big fucking eyeballs, and they got like fucking titties hanging out and wearing little skimpy panties. There's a lot of that shit on Nintendo. What happened to quality control? They have quality control anymore, or is there somebody like little 13-year-old that's letting that shit slip through the crack? What's going on?
No, they got mind control, man. They don't need quality.
Anyway, that's enough for Cletus. All right, there you go, guys. That's Cletus' opinion, and we're gonna get over to Mr. Tony Baloney's on standby. Tony, are you in the house, sir? You've got something special for us, I do believe, and then we've got 1 or 2 topics we're gonna get out of here.
Yes, and actually, speaking of which, I actually have to be up with the kids fairly soon, so I am going to be as soon as Tony Baloney is done. I got like 4 hours of sleep, and then I'm up. So before Tony Baloney comes in here, please, I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and whatever you celebrate, have a great time with family, please. Happy New Year and all that jazz. Absolutely. And Mooch, Lady, it was an absolute honor to be on this podcast with you guys tonight. But yes, the mag does have responsibilities. My wife works at 3 a.m., so I have to. Okay. Yeah, I'm alone with the kids.
Right. Mag, what do you say we'll chip in, and we're going to get new for Christmas? We'll get him a clock that only reads Eastern time, so he knows that it's late as hell over here. Right?
Yeah, it's almost 10 after 1 here in Toronto too. Yeah, I'm the same as Mooch over here. Anyways, let me just call Tony. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, we're just gonna do one topic after this, and then we'll do our outros. Okay, guys?
I'm cool with that. I am fine.
All right.
I'm gonna get my fucking points in on these topics.
Who's talking right now? Tony Baloney's in the house. Yeah, I got my pink champagne here. I got everything going. And let me tell you something. Tony's got a whole lot of baloney for this week. Let me start with the first one. Noof, 3-hour show? What is this? The review for the Supreme Court? I don't have all the time in the world. What do you have, 76 topics tonight? It's ridiculous. You got to cut that shit out. And let me tell you something else. Titan Drago, you're not off the hook. Let me tell you something. Last week was Call of Duty Game of the Year. Bunch of bullshit. Let me tell you about that.
I will fight you.
You got me so mad I moved the microphone. You're a diamond player in Smite? Diamond? I didn't know they could polish a turd into a diamond. That's right. That's what I said. And let me tell you something else. Chat and all you people on Twitter who think that the Mooch and the Mag are the same person. Absolutely not true. So what I did is I created a chart right here. Okay? Allow me to read the chart. The Mooch yells. The Mag yells. Check. As you can see, nothing alike. The Mooch is Italian. The Mag is Italian. Check. The Mooch is from New York. The Mag's family is from New York. The Mooch is a podcaster. The Mag is a podcaster. The Mooch does not like Titan Drago. The Mag doesn't like Titan Drago. Game preferences, exactly the same. So as you can see from this chart, there are clearly no similarities between the Mooch and the Mag whatsoever. So let me tell you something.
I don't think the Mooch wears that fucking hat.
Let me leave you with one other thing. Just let me tell you something. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'm only going to sing you a very short song, but let's put on some Perry Como music. Why not? Hey! Why not?
Chug it. Just chug it. I know it's red.
It's beginning to look a lot like syphilis all across my crotch. I met her at the 5 and 10. It's starting to burn again. I should have worn that dome. It's beginning to look a lot like syphilis all across my nose. And I'm telling all you men, don't let it happen again. Stay away from those hoes. That's right, everybody. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Tony Baloney would just like to say, Joe Dunmore, spit out that gum. We're in class right now. Everybody, have a wonderful evening, a great Christmas season, holiday season, and a Happy New Year.
That was awesome.
So Italian.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you, Tony Baloney. He'll be back bigger and better than ever in the new year, indeed.
Oh,
so
boy.
I didn't think I knew Italian.
I got a real quick super chat here, probably the last one tonight, coming in from our good friend Gaming Forte, who drops $4.99 for Nintendo Switch and got $472 to aid my Series X. After trading my One X and Pro, I paid $148 for my Series X and PS5. Damn! Gaming Forte knows how to do some new phenomics and turn old things into good things. Fantastic stuff, man. The value of Nintendo games just continues to stay there. It's kind of like the crack industry.
Even their like third-party games, you're not getting fucking a horrible price for it. It's fantastic ecosystem.
It is. I don't know how they do it, but like I said, it's all about demand. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the topic here again. That was awesome stuff from Tony Baloney. He never disappoints. Great 2 back-to-back weeks of Christmas. So Tony Baloney, well, he's out of here already, so wishing him all the best.
Yes, guys, I got to get going. So guys, love you all. Have a great holiday season. Happy New Year. Noof, thank you for a wonderful year. It's been absolutely magnificent on Gaming After Dark. It's been incredible. Titan, you've been nothing short of fantastic. You know all the jabs are just for fun, buddy. But you guys at Lady and Mooch, you guys are amazing. And we will see you guys all in the new year. I'm so excited.
Appreciate it, Mag. Merry Christmas, buddy.
Yes, Merry Christmas, guys. Have a good night.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas to you, man. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Like I said, I had no idea we'd run past the 3-hour mark tonight. This is a record for me on any podcast, I think, and a record for Gaming After Dark. So we're going to speed it up real quick. I'm going to go around. We'll start with Mooch. We're going to talk about, so what you'll do is answer what your most anticipated game is for 2021 and basically do your outro at the same time. So it's just simply what game are you most anticipating this year? I just want one game, the biggest one, the one that you just can't wait for. We'll start with you, Mooch, and then just let everybody know where they can find you and your content in the new year.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a tough question to answer, but I'll make it short and sweet. I mean, I probably the most anticipated one is going to be Halo. I think it's all eyes on Halo for 2021. I mean, you can definitely sit there and say it's going to be Horizon, or it could possibly be Ragnarok, but I think that'll get delayed. There's other games that are coming out, like I'm looking forward to, like Far Cry 6. Like, I think I'm finally going to go back to the Far Cry series after the last one I truly enjoyed was 3. So I'm hoping that now that they got El Polo in there to kind of be the antagonist, I'm pretty excited about that. But I would say Halo. Halo's probably the most anticipated because it's not that I'm a big Halo like lunatic, but I enjoy the Halo story, and I want to see how they bring Master Chief back to front and center, and we just kind of take 5 and sweep it a little bit to the left and let Halo Infinite take us into a new direction. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But let me just ride the coattails of what Mag said. I do want to say, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year to everybody. Titan, Lady, Noof, thanks for having me on the show. Just an outstanding show, man. I love to come on. I love difference of opinion. Me and Lady were actually just going back and forth and talking too. I mean, to be honest with you, like the best part of podcasting is a great debate, is a great conversation. So I welcome it all the time. I actually prefer a difference of opinion. I don't want a bunch of people just agreeing with me. That would be very, very boring. So I think this is great. Great show. 2020. Listen, there's a couple silver linings there. Everyone wants to bash 2020, and it was probably one of the worst ever. But The silver linings are we did see the gaming industry excel. Doesn't matter which team you like. They all went up. That's good for us. It brought gaming to the forefront and made it socially acceptable.
Yeah.
Now people who never gamed are gaming. You see people wearing more gaming shirts, gaming paraphernalia, all kinds of stuff, right?
Yes.
And that's socially acceptable, which I think is amazing, is awesome. Things that we used to love and be able to not talk about, now people are able to talk about in public. Awesome. So silver lining here, 2020 got people to stay home, be social by being on Xbox Live, PSN, etc., whatever you like, Steam. And to be honest with you, that's a beautiful thing that has made this industry grow. And listen, it's not going to go away. It's just going to continue to grow from here because as people dip their toe into the gaming world, it's really hard to say that you don't enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. There's a game and a genre out there for everybody. That being said, it's the Mooch 78 on YouTube. It's the Mooch 78 on Twitch. Please go over and check it out. I'm working very, very diligently behind the scenes. Wanted to do it for the end of the year, but because we did our last Crossfire last week for 2020, January 1st, we'll be back on New Year's Day on Crossfire, and I'll have a new set. We have giveaways. We're doing a big blowout, so it's going to be a huge new thing. It'll be a completely new image of Crossfire, and I'm very excited to have been working with some talented people to make this happen every day. So, Noof, again, thank you. Titan, thank you. Lady and Mag, thank you. Appreciate it, and I will see you guys into the new year.
Well, Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year to you and your family. Hope you stay safe, stay happy, all that good stuff, Mooch. And I look forward to having you back again in the future, my friend. So definitely count on that. So take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, brother.
All right, let's get over to Lady AF. Lady, again, thank you for being here. I know you were a little under weather today, but you held in there. You brought a ray of light to the podcast. We love to see more lady gamers come to the forefront and center. I think they're severely lacking in our podcasts and streaming, and well, they're doing pretty good with the streaming, but definitely in the podcast side of things. And I'd like to get more involved in our community game nights. So again, appreciate you being here. Let people know where they can catch up with you, your content, and all that good stuff.
You can find me on Lady_AF on Twitter. That's basically where you're going to find anything that I am doing, put out. My kind of upcoming game that I'm most looking forward to outside of Halo is going to be Outriders. I'm super excited for it. I really hope Square Enix can hold its own after playing this weekend and the kind of beta Xbox shit that they put out. It seems like it could go places. I'm excited for it. We didn't get to talk about it, but I do want to kind of throw it in there that my favorite indie game this year has been Spiritfarer. Please play. Fucking great game. It's amazing if you like material mat type of shit. So yeah. Good.
You heard it from Lady right there, guys. Go give her a follow, and don't forget to check her out with Wilmy Hood and Company on Gaming Beyond the Box on Wednesday night. So, are you guys doing a podcast tomorrow night then?
Yeah, tomorrow night. You can find me tomorrow night. Hey guys, I have a lot. I'm sorry. It's Cletus. But yeah, you can find me tomorrow night on Gaming Beyond the Box with Wilmy and all those fuckers. Always drunk and trying to talk over them while they try to talk. So
there you go. See Lady AF in the flesh as she's sipping back one of her favorite drinks. Yeah. So there you go. Tomorrow night. And while a person, my other co-host who really made this podcast click this year, been so fortunate and honored to have him join us. He's brought a lot of charisma, some great points in there. I know he gets a lot of hate because guys just see him as, the Xbox corporate slave. But, Titan's a one-of-a-kind guy. We have a great sense of humor, great chemistry. This whole panel does. It's fantastic. So, Titan, what is your most anticipated game of 2021? And then let people know where they can at least follow you on social media. I know you're not doing a lot with channels and stuff yet, but let people know where they can check you out, brother. And what's your number one game?
Stalker 2 is my most anticipated game. As far as my last award for the year goes to none other than me, the one and only Titan Drago. Not Noof, not Meg, not a lady, not a mooch. Sure as hell, not nobody named Baloney. Why? Because y'all come here to listen, have a good time, laugh, and I'm the best. I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking around with y'all. But anyways, my last award goes to Joe Dunmore. Not only did he win the Tony Baloney game show we held earlier in the year, but this guy is always nice, positive. He's the exact person I like to see in the chat each and every week, week in and week out. So until next year, everybody, please don't forget to bring the common back to sense.
All right, and lastly, I won't keep these cats much longer, but I do want to acknowledge the chat. We got another super chat coming in from Percolator. He gets one in under the radar here at $5. I made it. I made it. Listen later. Hope it was a great show. I think it was. It's definitely a record. Almost 3.5 hours long here. I want a big shout out, obviously, to not only the chat. Everybody comes out and makes this show super fun every week, but people like the moderators. Like Crazy Greek Dude and Spider-Man in the chat. And of course, everybody supported us all year long. Been awesome. People like Pong Soul, Doggy Dog, Timothy Dixon, Joe Dunmore, Dravenero, Dreadpool. Dreadpool's in the house. Phantom Kraken, Sleepy Goblin. I mean, the list goes on. Jesse Darby, the Dr. Dinglenut. What was it? The fart guy earlier there, what's his name? Audible fart. Princess Zelda, Gaming Forte, Wilmy Hood, Leonidas, HR Bomber, Emmanuel A1. I mean, I could probably be here all night. Red Raven. So I'll just wrap it up at that. You guys know who you are. We definitely know who you are. We recognize you. There's a lot of the same people here every week and some new ones coming in, and you guys are fucking amazing. Thank you so much for your support, the super chats, just the interaction on Twitter as well, the shares, the likes, etc. It's been a phenomenal year. Gaming After Dark continues to grow. I was a little concerned when Primal stepped aside. Where do I even go with this, or do I even continue? But it's been phenomenal. It's my only podcast. This is it is definitely a bit different. Obviously a little raunchier than most people are probably used to, but I think a lot of you guys actually come here for that little bit of refreshment, a little bit of a off the wall sort of a take on gaming and topics. And of course, Arnold will be back in the new year. Tony Baloney will be back in the new year. Titan's going to be working on some new stuff as well, and he will be back strong in the new year as well. So I would just want to wish everybody happy holiday seasons, greetings, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, Feliz Navidad, Malagayang Pasko, Merry Christmas, whatever applies. I just want you to be safe most of all. Hope you have a great holiday season. A lot of us have to spend it away from loved ones this year. It really friggin' sucks. So just make the moments count. And again, it's a great time to get some gaming in and catch up with people that way as well. I hope to see more people online and actually play in the community game nights. Speaking of, there's one coming up this weekend. I don't know if I was going to run one, but I know Mr. Tushy. You guys know Mr. Tushy. He's got the UK one going. So I think that starts at around probably like 2 or 3 o'clock mountain time, my time. So it's probably like about 5 o'clock on the eastern seaboard. He's going to be doing Titanfall 2 and Golf with Friends, I do believe. So keep that in mind. Don't forget to check out Mr. Boomstick XL, a good friend of mine. He's doing the Xbox Factor podcast tomorrow. I think it goes at 12 Eastern, 10 Mountain Time. So go check him out there as well. All the support, Salty is Gaming in there as well. Everybody that's been here, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you in the new year. Until then, Merry Christmas, good luck, be safe, be happy. And again, thanks to Lady AF and Mooch for coming out and being amazing guests tonight. This was a dynamite show. Sorry it ran this long. We had no idea it would go this far, but hey, we don't do these every day. Yeah,
I knew.
All right. Oh, awesome, man. All right. So we'll catch you guys all later. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Peace.